It don't happen at the wrong time in the wrong place, oh yeah. It's been so cool it down, cool it down, cool it down, 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 cool it down, cool it down, cool it down, cool it down, 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 cool it down. I know I break your heart so many times. Cool it down, 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 cool it down. Not my
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome back to the Hard Zone. My name is Derek Yali, and you're here watching the Hard Zone on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. And as always, I like to strongly encourage you to please follow the network on your individual social media pages. And the network to follow is the Liberia Radio and Television Network on Facebook and on YouTube. Please do us a favor by sharing the program on your pages, and also you can leave us your contribution and feedbacks in the comment sections. If this is your first time watching, this is the Horizon. Here we brand ourselves as no gimmick, no fluff, just real talk, and we bring you analysis, we bring you positions on from different political institutions, and we have a team of panelists that are from different political institutions and different political persuasions. And just by way of disclaimer, all of the opinions, ideas, and position expressed here are not does not reflect that of the network or the individual panelists that express that. Again, we welcome you to another fresh episode of the Horizon. My name is Derek Yali, and not to waste any further time, I would like to transition right into the current event. For the next episode, we will be featuring a special guest from District 14, Monserrado County. So we do not have a lot of current events to bring you, other than to remind you that elections is 139 days away from today, or 138 days away from today. And also we would like to highlight the CPP rally that is scheduled for the 27th of this month, the end of the weekend. So right now there are massive preparations that are on the way by the collaborating political parties as its standard bearer Alexander Cummins officially announces his running mate on May 27th. So Fixer 1 will be announcing Fixer 2 on May 27th in Buchanan, Grand Bassa County. And with that, I would like to transition over to our panelists so we can have their take on that development. We're looking forward to that big development on the weekend in Grand Bassa County. So I would like to now transition over to our team of panelists. And let me take this time to officially welcome all of you watching us, wherever you're watching us, to another episode of the High Zone. I'd like to have the team of panelists on the screen right now, beginning with Mr. Ja Winkin. We are welcome to another episode of the High Zone and talk to us. Before I do that, let me introduce our newest panelist, Mr. Frederick Gibson. It's the first time on the High Zone. You see that like you're in the palace, but welcome to the High Zone.
Thank you, thank you. Well,
Thank you.
you said the high zone, so I gotta look for a high chair to sit on the high zone.
You see, you're setting the mark for our next episode. You see you see all of us in a very high level, but palace like chair. But again, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. And Mr. Mawolo, welcome to another episode of the High Zone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mawolo. Let's come to you, Mr. Ja Winkin. Welcome to another episode.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you, everybody. Let's do it, guys.
Let's do it again. Another one. Mr. Boda, welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure always, and thanks to all the panelists here tonight.
Thank you very much. Blow J Choppy Charlie, welcome to another episode of the High Zone.
Yeah, it's always good to be here for another lightning round.
Thank you, Blow J. And now let me take this time to welcome our special guest from district number 14. Welcome to the High Zone. It's a pleasure to have you here, and welcome to the High Zone.
Thanks for having me, Derek. Where are the females?
We have a female panelist. She is not on today, so hopefully she will join us later on during the course of the show. But they're here.
I don't even feel safe right now.
You should feel.
You'll be fine.
That's okay.
You feel fine. But let
You in
me
good
get.
company.
You're in
Oh,
good company. Trust me, you are. So let me get my team of panelists opinion or position on the CPP rally in Buchanan, Grand Bassa County, and then I will start the interview with you, Masa Topo. Let me start with you, man, Mr. Bowden. What are you anticipating for the 27 in Grand Bassa County? Fixer one will be announced in Fixer two. You have a minute and 30 seconds.
It's the job unravel the all of the speculations and whatever that have been going on. We now know that there's somebody coming from Grand Bassa. So as we learn from that convention that whoever going to be the VP pick going to come, they're going to go to that county. So we now know precisely who got one Bassa woman or one Bassa man coming out. So it's a good thing. To have a diverse political environment where we're shifting our people from different sub-political divisions. So I work on the idea and we hope to see who they're going to unveil on the 27th. We don't want to go into that basket. And Mr. Maulo here, you're going to probably tell all this thing about it. But it's a good thing to do.
Who do you think is most likely to be picked? Who do you think? Just quick answer. Don't give me an explanation. Just the name.
From some of my sources are wrong. I think Charlene is heading that list.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Boda. Let me come to you, Bloody Choppy Charlie. What are you anticipating for May 27? Fixer one will be announced in Fixer two.
Well, I try to look at it like maybe they're just gonna be having like a high school ball, where the lady gonna be escorted at the ball, just some makeshift stuff. Yeah,
It's
just a matter of formality.
It's a matter of formality. Thank you very much, Bloody Choppy Charlie. Mr. Jawinkin, we talk to us.
Well, as I said the last time, I think it was a smart move really to at least extend this time about the naming of the vice presidential candidate, because that has more Liberian to be wanting to see who that person will be, and it has been in the news. So that is some PR for the for that particular campaign. I think it was a smart move for them to have done.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Jawa. Again, I see you nodding, Masa Topo. I want to come to you, but let me get Frederick first. Talk to us about this development. May 27, the CPP Fixer one will be announced in Fixer two.
Well, again, thanks for welcoming to this platform. I think it's a welcome opportunity for Liberia, Africa, and the world that Fixer 1 will be announced in Fixer 2. The long-awaited announcement is scheduled to be held on the 27th. I don't expect anything more or much from the announcement. I think the whole world, in fact, Liberians already know who the pick is, but we wait to see that unveiled so that we can follow the campaign and make an informed decision as to whether or not the pick is the right one.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gibson. Let's now come to you, Mr. Mawolo. May 27, Fixer 1 will be announced in Fixer 2 in Buchanan City, Grand Bassa County.
Well, thank you. To follow up on the analogy of blowjay, when the guy escort the girls to the ball in the high school around here, they call it the prom, and that's the end of the year.
Prom. Yeah.
And that will be the end of the year for CDC. At the beginning of the year. That would be the beginning for the CDC. So keep on cheering on. You know that when everybody can get well dressed up.
Look, you scored yourself on that one.
So,
I don't know how a prom taken in another already in college.
It's going to be a fascinating weekend. After all the prom and pageantry, there will be a birthday party celebrated on Sunday. So the people who, I think Monday is supposed to be a holiday, is it? If I'm
yes, here.
So the people got
holiday in the U.S.
Yes, Memorial Day.
Or is it in Liberia too?
No. We finished all time.
No, U.S.
All right, but whatever the case may be, I'm sure those people are not going to leave Buchanan until Monday anyway. So, so it's gonna be a happy weekend. Finally, the name will be announced officially to the public, and all the hustle and bustle of the election season will begin. But this time, not only with Fixer One, but with both of them together. So I think it will be a happy time, and I'm excited that it's happening. And I wish I was there.
Let me squeeze in a question real quick for you though, because I think a few episodes ago you seemed very certain that it was going to be Yombly Kanga. Do you still believe
I
that?
no,
Yeah.
I always told you. I said it wouldn't. I said no, she was not a choice because I don't think she matched Mr. Cummings. I said that here. Play the
Okay.
tape.
So who are you anticipating now? Who do you think is going to be?
Well, Mr. Cummings said he would prefer a woman, but up to now, I'm not going to preempt what Mr. Cummings is
You
going to do.
you know, but you're
We
not
got
gonna
two
say it.
people from Buchanan, from Bassa, who's on the list, so he could choose any one of them.
Already. Thank you, Mr. Mawodo. Now let me come to you, Masa Dopo, and give us your take on the CPP rally that is scheduled to be held May 27 in Buchanan City, Greenbass County.
I'm actually looking forward to a beautiful weekend. I think it's gonna be, like Mr. Mawolo said, it's gonna be a fantastic weekend. It's gonna be fun. People are gonna be celebrating both Fixer One and Fixer Two, and from all of my sources I've touched base with, everybody is optimistic that Charlie is gonna be the one, and I know she already threw her hat in a representative race, but I think this would be a bigger platform for her, especially now that she's now a youth. But I think as a bright, determined, energetic young woman, educator, I think she can be able to embrace this opportunity and be able to explore it and see how best she can even, move the Unity Party, the Liberty Party forward in terms of good leadership and reconstruction, especially when you want to bring in the young people, you want to bring in the women. So I think she's a good fit, and I hope that she's the one who's going to be picked on Saturday because she's qualified. She can bring the young people together. She can bring the women, and that's going to be a good ticket. Whether they're going to make it to the runoff, I'm not too sure about that, but you never know what's happening.
Thank you very much. Let me squeeze in this question real quick. Though. As I saw you nodding in agreement when Mr. Jai Winkin was speaking. Do you care to share with us what were you agreeing with him on?
Yeah, he said that it's going to be a fantastic weekend. People, if I'm right, that's what I know in my head too. Because I know the weekend is going to be fantastic, and I know the turnout is going to be great. It's going to be a huge turnout. Whether they're going to pay people, whether they're going to borrow crowd, like Seditious always feel like other people borrowing crowd only for them. They don't borrow crowd. They already have that crowd set up. But whatever the case may be, I think Basa is going to be the place to be this weekend.
Thank you very much, my side Dopo. And guys, if you're watching us, this is the Hard Zone, and this is the current event. We've gotten the opinions of the panelists on our current event topic tonight. We will take a very brief break, and when we come back, we will be getting right into our interview with representative aspirant from district number 14, and our special guest here tonight, Masa Dopo. She's a daughter of District 14, a mother, a licensed social worker, an advocate, a business owner. When we come back, we'll get right into the interview with her. But for now, let's take a very brief break.
Maintaining your vehicle can be a major investment. That's why here at Brothers Auto Care, we pride ourselves on providing professional and reliable auto care at affordable rates. Whether you need an inspection, new brakes, or diagnostic reports, our skillful and experienced mechanics are here for you every step of the way. Call Brothers Auto Care now to schedule your next auto maintenance and repair service. At Brothers Auto Care, we help you drive home with peace of mind.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're here watching the Hard Zone on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. My name is Derek Yale, and as always, I encourage you to please share the program on your individual social media pages, and you can follow the network and encourage friends and family to follow the network on Facebook and YouTube as well. Now, we have our special guest here tonight, a representative aspirant from District number 14, Moserado County. So if you're from that district, you should be watching this and you should be giving us your questions that you will have for the aspirant from District number 14, Masa Dopo. And we have our team of panelists here ready with their questions for the representative aspirant. And I'm pretty certain that she is ready for all of the questions. So why don't we jump right into that interview with Masa Dopo from District number 14? And guys, just to my team of panelists, this interview I wanted to follow two formats. One is general questions, and the first round of questions will be general questions, and then the second round will be on her plans for the district, and also questions as it relate to her campaigning strategies and stuff like that. But the first one, I want for us to keep it very general and answer questions that from for a general aspect. I will get the ball rolling, Masa Dopo. Let me first again welcome you to the High Zone, and let me now give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to our audience. So talk to us about who Masa Dopo is. I know I have here your mother, your daughter of District number 14, your lesson social worker, you're an advocate, you're a business owner. So you can talk more about you to our audience and to the people of District number 14. And also if you don't mind, talk to us about District number 14. What are some unique things about District number 14 that you would like to share? So I would like to have you address that first.
Thank you, Gary. Thanks to the RTN team for inviting me on this platform. This is my first time here, but I'm happy to be here and to be able to talk about myself as well as my district and my people of District 14. So, by way of introduction, my name is Masa Topo. I was born and raised in District 14, Clarentine. I am a lifelong volunteer worker in Clarentine and a resident of Clarendon District 14. By way academically, I do have a master's degree in social work. When I first logged in, I heard people talking about, oh, she lives in North Dakota. Yeah, I went to school in North Dakota. I did all of my schooling in North Dakota. I have a master's degree in social work from the University of North Dakota. I went to the North Dakota State University. I did my bachelor there, and I also attended the Minor State University as well in the North Dakota. In Minot with my bachelor degree, and I temporarily live in Minnesota, where I attended North Hennepin Community College. I got my associate degree in labor arts there. And once I was done with schooling, I decided to move on the East Coast to be able to, you know, they always said that we were in the village and it was so cold, so decided to move on the East Coast to be able to experience the East Coast life. So I've been here in Delaware for a while now. I can say 5 years now, or 5 to 6 years I've been in Delaware, and I've currently worked with the Department of Health and Social Services, Delaware State. But basically, I've been in and out in my district, in and out in my district as well as in like you. I mean, in my country, I've been over the years. I've been doing a lot of work in my district, and even when I was in Liberia, I started my whole work in the district when I was in high school, where let's just say tribally, my mom is a Val woman. She's a Muslim woman. My dad is from River County. He's a government. Both of my parents are not alive. I was like 12 years old. My mom passed away, and I think I was let's see, an adult when my dad passed away in 2012. But prior to that, when I was in high school, like I said, I've been busy and somebody who grew up in a family that's really dedicated to volunteering work very dedicated to helping people, even though we ourselves, we from a poor family, from a poor background. But one thing our dad taught us, as somebody who was 40 in the truth. He was a Jehovah Witness. One thing that he taught us was service, how to be able to give back to your community and how to love your neighbors as yourself. So as a little girl, I picked up on that and I started doing a lot of volunteering work in the district. I even built a library in the district where I was teaching children. When I was in high school, my dad was able to build that. It was a one-bedroom place that my dad built for me to be able to, because I told him I wanted to open a library because I was so passionate about education, especially for children who came after me. So my dad was able to build that. I was able to raise money. I reached out to ministers, representatives, senators, and they were able to help me to build that one-bedroom. And I was able to reach out to UNICEF as well, to help me with books and all the school supplies that would be able to help young children. So that was my weekend job every day. I was teaching children. I would help people, families, and every school year, I try to have a fundraiser wherein I invite government officials, I invite senators, like big people, and also invite UNICEF. So every year I was having like a fundraiser, scholarship fundraiser in my district, and to be able to help children as well as poor families. So that I did not depart from that, even when I had the opportunity to come to the US to follow my study. I still continue to do that. I remember at the University of North Dakota, I raised tons of pharmaceutical supplies because we have a big hospital, a big clinic in our district. It's called the Mount Mary Clinic. If you heard about District 14, just to give you an idea of where District 14 is, it's from Vaton, it's Claraton, it's Chicaton, it's Dole Community, it's Petitton, Freeport, Car Factory, way there, and everywhere I just listed. So I was able to raise pharmaceutical supplies to be my school, the North Dakota State University, our social work organization, we were able to raise pharmaceutical supplies back in 2013, and I went to Liberia, I made a donation, and also school supplies for the kids in some of the schools there. And to be honest, we were able to share. I was able to share over 3 hospitals that benefit and over 2,000 kids that benefit from our back to school supplies for children that year. But I didn't stop there. Like I said, every year I'm in Liberia. Every year I'm in my district. Every time I'm in the U.S. here raising money, collecting donations to see how best I can be of help to a place that raised me, that nurtured me, and that gave me the opportunity to be where I am today and to be who I am today. So I'm so grateful to District 14. I'm so grateful to the people there, the residents who, when I first started off um, this journey, I hope I'm not talking too
Thank you.
much,
Yeah,
guys.
let
Okay.
me hold you and give the other panelists time to ask questions. You might be answering some of the questions they have, so let me give
Okay.
them the opportunity to ask the question.
Right,
You can
because
you
I'm a social worker. I talk a lot, so if you don't control mine, I'll just be flowing.
we want to hear from you. I'm sure the people from District 14 will
Yeah.
want to hear from you. But let me get the panelist question, and then you can answer the question as they ask. Now, let me
Okay.
take before I do that. Let me welcome one of our newest panelists, Pastor Jonathan J. Now you're gonna have to help me with that last name. Bapeye. How do you see the last name? You're muted.
My last name is Bapewe,
Pape.
but I don't know whether it's my laptop or whether it's you guys, but the voice is really coming distorted and also kind of like breaking. Is it from my end? Do I have to switch from my laptop to my tablet, or anybody else experiencing that?
I think you are the only one.
Yes, I
It's
think
from,
us we can
it's
hear you
from my
pretty
end.
fine though.
We
Yes, I
hear
think
you
it's from your
clearly.
end. We're hearing you pretty clear.
Is this from my end?
Yes.
Yes, I
Yes.
think it is.
Okay, I'll be right back. Let me switch over to my tablet or my phone.
Okay, while we wait on Pastor Jonathan, let me come to you, Blue Choppy Charlie. Any question for our special guest tonight?
Um, well, question. I just interested in hearing some specifics in terms of. I always like to ask this question to anybody who's contesting in terms of cost function. What is a single program as a lawmaker you hope to achieve? How much will it cost Liberia?
How much will it cost Liberia? When you're talking about how much will it cost the legislature or the government or my personal account and
I'm talking about I mean, if you pass a law, it's going to cost money every time the legislature vote down any law. It's going to cost money for that program, any program government implement. So I'm
okay.
very interested in the cost function.
Okay, that's a beautiful question. I cannot speak directly when it comes to the cost of that, um, especially with somebody who has managed so many state programs or has rated so many state programs that benefit continue to benefit the residents here in Delaware. Every time you write a program, I know there's something called how you call it projected amount, but I don't want to speak to that. It's gonna base on what the program is about, what do you want to achieve, what are some of the things that you're gonna be doing, and all those kind of stuff. And then when you put it together, but just to answer your question, I have so many. I have a platform. I have a sheet framework that I've written out, and it's currently in all of the major stakeholders in the district. I was able to distribute it to them. And on that SHIP framework is sanitation, the issue of sanitation. If you know Industry 14, you definitely know what our people are faced with. The issue of healthcare, the issue of education, empowerment, which is more like employment, and you have productivity, like making sure that young people, including adults who are work ready or able-bodied adults, are ready to work and they are productive. So on the issue of sanitation and healthcare are the two major things that I'm really going to focus on. I'm really going to see how best we can write up, not even how best. I'm going to write a bill, travel bill, and see how I can lobby with my colleagues, how we can implement it. But before we do that, we first have to have the engineers. We first have to have the people who can do the work. So they will come and do the assessment. It's not me coming to do an assessment. You have to bring the people to come and do the assessment, meet with the residents to discuss. Even though I listed all these things are things that I want to focus on, looking at my assessment over the years. But I think it's also important to be able to bring the people who can do the work to sit with the residents and be able to ask them questions because now people are telling me, okay, Marcel, we already need the sanitation issue here. It's very terrible. Everybody can see it. But then over time, people, things that people want, their wants begin to change. They have a whole different idea about how they want it done. So that's where we're going to bring the people who can do the work. And we're all going to sit down and discuss it. And that's where we're going to draft a plan and see how much it's going to cost us to address the sanitation issue in our district, how much it's going to cost us to address the healthcare situation in our district or the education situation in our district. Like if you look at our district right now, we only have one Clariton clinic in our district. Before, we used to have the Mount Hospital, which, of course, over the years, I've donated pharmaceutical supplies at the Mount Hospital as well as the Clariton. But now, because Mount is old and she herself, she doesn't have like a stable network or resources, so the hospital is not functioning like it used to function. So now it's just the Clariton Hospital. How do we upgrade the Clariton Hospital? How do we standardize it? How do we equip it? So those are things that we're going to bring medical doctors, we're going to bring all the professionals who are going to, even engineers who are going to sit with our residents in the district and be able to discuss how do we address this. And then
Thank,
after that,
thank,
we're going to put our plans together. And after putting everything together, then you come out with the budget. So I can
thank,
speak to the issue of how much it's going to cost us until we can actually be able to draft the plan and address all those
Thank you,
different
thank you,
areas.
thank you very much. Now let's take another question from you, Mr. Boda. You're muted.
Oh, okay. Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Uh,
Charlie, I hope I answer your question. I know we kind of going, but we still have some
Well, I mean,
time.
you
This
gave
is
your answer.
this is not my
uh,
first time.
since Master, my question to you is in full with your just what you were explaining. What are the problems associated with your district? Do you have an idea how much is allotted in your national budget for your district? Since you've been a community advocate working in your community, do you have an idea what it costs annually in the national budget for your district?
When I used to, I gave you an example. Not even an example. I worked at the legislature prior to coming to Liberia. I worked with the late Senator Johnson from River G County. And one thing that I'm ready show off, not ready show off, is a new fact that every district has community development, county development fund, or district development fund. What we don't know, or the residents or the citizens of that district they don't know, is that how much exactly is this money because it's not a public document. A lot of things that's supposed to be accessible to the public, that's supposed to be public document, those are the things that the public, they are not accessible to the public. So yes, I fully know how much is it, but I know it's a good amount of money that should be able to at least every year undertake a good project that's going to benefit the people. So even if you say it's 700,000 for our district development fund, don't you think that 700,000 can even add value to our healthcare situation in our country, or even add value to the sanitation issues that we are facing, or even add value to the education sector in our country? Like, look at our district. Our district is like a hub. It's an economic hub. I keep telling people, District 14 is the richest district in the Republic of Liberia. But District 14 is the dirtiest, it's the poorest district in the Republic of Liberia. So
Thank you.
where are those funds going? You understand? So yes, there are a good amount of funds there every year that's supposed to benefit the district, it's supposed to impact the living condition of the people, but we don't know them. We don't know the exact amount. We only know that the representatives are there. We only see them driving their fancy car or their big houses or investing it in their own personal projects, but they are not benefiting the residents in the district itself.
Thank you very much, Masa Dopo. And guys, if you're watching us, this is the Hard Zone. You're watching Representative aspiring from District Number 14, Moserado County. And we are constrained with time right now. So I would like to ask the panelists to keep their question very brief. And to you, our special guest, if you can keep your answer very specific, short, and sweet for us, I would appreciate that. Now, we have 5 minutes before the break, but let me come to you, Mr. Gibson. Again, do you have any question for our special guest?
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Dopo. It seems that you have a very diverse background, and I followed your presentation. But my question is, what sets you apart from all of the candidates that are vying for that position in the district? What sets you apart?
That's a beautiful question, and that's one thing I have been all over the place with, and people have really seen in me. So what sets me apart is really passion. Is passion, is compassion, is empathy, and those are the three things that you must have, especially if you want to be a good leader. You must have passion for the job. You must have compassion for your people. You must have empathy for your people, the people that you're going to serve. So those three things are my guiding principles in life, in my own personal life. If I do not have a passion for anything, I am not gonna. You're not gonna find me around that thing. I must be able to have a passion for a work or any career that I pick in order for me to put forth there. So I have a passion for this job, the representative job for my district. It's not something that it's a big job. People's lives depend on you. Our district depends on you. So this is something that you must have a passion for before you even want to get in the race. So I have a passion for that. And compassion for our people. Look at the living condition of our people. Even me, when I was there as a child, even adult, You understand some of the struggles that we went through over there, and supporting people here and there, and at the end of the day, they disappoint us. So those are things that I passed through, and so I'm coming into this with so much compassion for my district and compassion for my people, and to ensure that the living condition of my people are improved. And then empathy. Yeah, everything that's going on in my district, I must be able to empathize with my people, and which of course I do, because I lived through all those things that I currently see, and God was able to bless me, give me extra opportunity, and that's the same opportunities that I want to provide as a representative for our people, because I have a bigger platform now to be able to make a difference, or large difference, or huge difference, and be able to provide for all the young people, give them the same opportunity that somebody in my family was able to give the children just that.
Thank you very much. Now let's come to you, Mr. Jawin Kimwiya. Any question for our guest here tonight?
Okay, thank you. Our special guest, Masa Dogo. My question is, I know the last time you were at the fundraiser for Councillor Tiawase Gonglo here in the United States. So I would like to know as to whether you are running on a particular ticket of the current parties that are contesting in the election, and if so, why do you choose to join a particular candidate ticket?
Well, thank you for that question. Right now, when I first started off this journey, I said I was going to run as an independent, because I don't want to be in all of the fights. I really want to focus give my own divided attention to district 14, because that's the reason why I'm in this election for. Unfortunately, looking at the NEC, like the way they went about doing the whole electoral process, it's kind of like, like a horror kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start to explore other parties. And one of the parties that are the candidates that are ready, I shouldn't say for a love with, but that's kind of like their activities resonated with mine is considered Gonggolo. So I started looking around, because this election, let me tell you, it's really about reaching out to the people, the real voters. And I told people, I say, if it comes to intellectualism or debate or anything, I can sit on the platform, we can debate forever, I will not get tired. I'll probably get a bottle of water and drink, and we'll continue with it. But how does the people benefit, the real people? So I must be able to reach out to in every community, knock on every door, and sit with every old lady or young person, and be able to listen to them and talk to them. And that's what I saw Councillor Gonglo doing. He's the only candidate in Liberia so far who is really doing what I have been doing in my district. So I kind of resonated with him, and that's why I went over there to be able to meet him in person, and just congratulate him for the job well done. But I haven't made any decision yet as to whether which party I'm going to contest on. But definitely, I'm gonna do that before the end of next month.
Thank you very much, Masa Dopo. Now let me take Mr. Mawule.
Good evening, Ms. Dupo, and it's good that another woman is jumping in the race to try to help her people. Um, as we know, the Liberian House of Representatives is very dysfunctional. With all that you intend to do, it still has to be approved by them. In a house where most of the people, first of all, don't know why they're there,
Mhm,
secondly, don't know their job description,
mhm,
how do you intend to get your work done with everybody in the way of proper dispensation of the monies that's
mhm.
supposed to be given to the communities to develop? Are you intending to raise money by yourself to get these things done? Are you intending to go through the government? And a perfect example would be the sewage problem. which is a serious problem in the Claratown and thing area.
Hmm.
I mean, that's a government thing. The government has to
Right.
do that.
Yeah.
How you intend to fix that?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mawolo. That's a beautiful question, and that's no secret. It's going to be a huge challenge. In fact, when I was in Liberia 2 weeks ago, I told somebody, um, I met with some of the lawmakers, just to really be able to have that one-on-one conversation to hear from their mouths, what are some of the challenges, like personal challenges that they are faced with. And exactly what you said are some of the challenges, like people, like serious-minded people who really want to create laws, they want to create good bills and those kind of stuff that they are faced with in their house. But yeah, and it's not going to be any exception. I'm not going to be no exception to that. But we are going to try our best. We are going to love it. We are going to put draft our bills. We are going to ask our colleagues and be able to explain the importance of why we want this, especially with the issue of the sanitation in our district, the issue of healthcare in our district. Those are things that I'm going to focus on, and I'm going to really be able to appeal, to them to see how best they can help me to be able to pass that because you can not because I'm the representative, but the people that I'm representing, they are Liberians, first of all, before District 14. So when I see people, like just saying that, oh, I gotta, not even focusing on that district, but just after themselves, it breaks me. It breaks my heart. It breaks my soul. But that's our country. In order for even in this country, they have Republicans, they have Democrats, but there are things that people can be able to come to common understanding or common ground and say, why the issue of sanitation, they are Liberians. What happens if we have some kind of disease outbreak in our place? Say, for example, like COVID, when people were dying here, say if they are not pro COVID, control in Liberia, do you know how many Liberians are going to die, like the Ebola, those kind of stuff. So those are the kind of um, um, you know, appealing that I'm going to do with our colleagues in there, with my colleagues in there, and see how best we can pass that. And also, I have an upper hand, like just being able to have that international connections, like people like you reach out to and see how best we can all network with different institutions here and see how best we can help our people see the issue of education. I have a friend who works with the school district. Like every year, they give out tons of school supplies, like new textbooks and everything. So those are the things that I've been sending over the years back home that I even wanted to help the government with shipping costs because the school district they just give it to you. Like they have textbooks, they have computers, they have school supplies, all kinds of different stuff. I even took a whole how you call it garage field this going weekend that I'm about to ship to Liberia in 2 weeks time. So there are a lot of opportunities that I have based on my networks out of the country that I will be able to reach out to, and they are going to help me. And also the issue with the content development funds. You understand? Like every year we have each district has something in our budget. So even if it's 500,000, for example, if you get 500,000 for every year and you put that money for the people or for the district themselves, you're going to see something. You're going to see evidence of that money, the impact of that money in the community and also in the lives of the people. But a lot of the people they just pocket it, and that's the reason why we are not seeing the impact in the lives of the people and also in the district. So whatever penny that my district is supposed to get, I should ensure that it is used for that purpose. And that's one of the things that people are not doing. So the government will not give you $1 million, or let's say they give you $1 million, but make sure that $1 million is used for its intended purpose and
Thank you,
used to
thank you.
impact the living condition of the people. So yes,
But
it's going to be a challenge, but I don't think it's going to be worse than not fighting for it.
thank you. Can we have Pastor Jonathan just squeezing his question real quick, and then we will take a break. Go ahead.
Well, I don't have a question specifically, but I just want to say congratulations to my sister. I've been knowing her for a couple of years now, and I just want to say thank you for your boldness, for your courage. It's not going to be easy, Even if you lost, I just want you to know that you won already, just by getting in the race,
Mhm.
because it's a first step to your political sojourn. So congratulations. We are here. Let us know our $5, our $10, whatever we can do for one T-shirt or whatever. We are here to just make sure that we can push you. God bless you.
Thank you very
Thank
much. And
you.
since Pastor Jonathan would not ask question on behalf of the people at District 14, let me ask one question to you real quick. Now, the norm in Liberia is usually for the campaign period. We have aspirants that have big plans, make sweet promises, but then when they win, we hear things like, "Oh, I'm just one representative in the legislature. I can't get things done without with all the approval of all the representatives." Now, I see you elaborated pretty well. I think Mr. Ma will ask you a question on that. You have plans for the people of District 14. I heard you mention, especially the sanitation issues. Now, hypothetically, let's say you win, or when you win, and you have a roadblock, other representative blocking your plan to address that issue in your district. How are you going to deal with that? Are you going to come back to the district and tell them, I tried to do it, but they didn't let me? Or what would be your plan B to handle those situation?
So I think I spoke to that. Let me tell you, it's not my responsibility to go back to the people who elected me after I told them that these are the things that I'm going to address. These are the things that I'm going to focus on. And then I go in the house and because of other roadblocks and stuff, I can't get nothing done. There's always an alternative. And like I said, that's why we have friends, we have colleagues internationally. We know how to tell our people's story. Like I was telling somebody, I said, look, let me tell you, as
Mhm,
a representative, if you have such a bigger platform and you already know where you came from and you already know how to tell your people's story, you cannot tell me, say, coming to the US or even the universities that I graduated from. And I know there
mhm,
are a lot of opportunities there that they can give me, that they can help me to implement in my country, in my district, that I will
mhm.
go there and then they turn me down. No, they will never turn me down. In
But
fact, they will even be happy to give me the platform to be able to tell my people's story. But then, yes, the other
mhm,
issue.
mhm,
Um, the other issue is you have content development funds. Those are funds that every year is in the budget for
mhm.
accounting. It's in the budget for a district. You understand?
Okay.
So
Mhm,
what am I going to do with those funds? Obviously, use it for its internal purpose, and that is to develop the district and create opportunities for our people. So there's no excuse when it comes to what I've listed as my platform or as my focus. I see no excuse with that because even if I can get it 100% at the legislature, I can go somewhere to get it. And it will not be the district paying for it, or it will not be Masadobo paying for it. It would be like me going out there lobbying and telling the stories of my people so that people can come and help me
But
and to
that that
implement those
that
things.
that would be also of your responsibility as a lawmaker. Are you okay with that?
Oh, definitely. But let me tell you, there are so many things in life that are outside of our responsibility and store opportunities. When opportunities reveal itself, what you have to do, you have to pick it up and run with it. So those are opportunities, and those are extra opportunities for me. They are extra network and resources that I can explore. So my resource or my network is not just limited to Liberia or being in the legislature. With that platform, I can get outside there and bring a whole lot of things to my district that will improve the living condition of my people. And I tell you, even when I was in Liberia a few times, I was
Mhm.
able to carry doctors. I was able to carry nurses. We did a huge health
let,
fair.
let me
We
let
were
me interrupt
supposed to.
let me interrupt you. And the part of the reason I'm staying on this point is because one of the issues with the current legislatures that we have is that they abandon their responsibility for which they are being paid, and they do something else, and they treat their district as if it's like humanitarian services they're
Yes.
doing to them. And from
Mhm.
what you're saying, you almost sounded like you're going to be doing the same thing. So do you want to clarify that, or are you okay with that?
Um, on a personal note, not
Mhm,
as part of my. That's what you asked me. You said you're gonna be doing something that's gonna be part. That's gonna be outside of your legislative functions, and I said it's gonna be an added opportunities. It's gonna be an added network. Gonna be an added resources. So it's
mhm,
not something that I'm gonna focus on, but it's something that when I see the need to do it, meaning to be able to travel and be able to tell my people's stories, because it's
Hmm.
not like you're doing charity work. You only
Okay.
selling your people's story, and I see
Hmm.
people to come and help your people. And you understand, I'm not going to be the one in the field like distributing this or distributing that. Say, for example, if I come to the school district of Pennsylvania and they donate tons of books, like the container filled with books, it's for the government. It's going to go to the Ministry of Education. But then at the end of the day, my district is going to benefit. Yeah, right? So I'm not going to be in the field doing that. But the most important thing here is to be able to pass laws and laws that will be able to be implemented. Say, for example, the issue of sanitation. We don't even have a sanitary bill in our legislature. You know, with how to address the issues in District 14 or even parts, in other parts of Liberia. So those are things that you will be able to work with your colleagues. I don't think anybody is going to reject that idea of passing a bill that we all can be able to use to address the sanitation situation in our different communities or affecting our people. The issue of healthcare. How do we
All of the.
how do
I'm
we
sorry.
equip all of our facilities? So
Time.
I'm,
those are bills that
this is
I'm
dope.
going to be
This is dope. But
focusing on bills, but I'm also going to ensure that
I really want to ask you
whatever
again.
opportunity present itself, I'm going to grab onto it. But no, I'm not going to be a charity worker.
Thank you very much. I want to ask you a question, but we are constrained with time, so I will again. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we will continue on to our next segment for the show. But thank you very much, my side dope boy, for doing this interview with us. And those of you watching, this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network, bringing to you another episode of the High Zone. My name is Derek Yale, and we will see you after the break.
Hey there. Many Liberians are members of social clubs, 501c NGOs, and school alumni. Many Liberians are trying to open their own 501c NGOs, home care agencies, and social clubs. Does your organization have a professional website? Does your web platform have the right wording and content to attract grants? Hopefully, you're not running your organization only through social media. There's a more professional route. You need an online space where you can craft a positive message about your organization, making your home health agency more credible, which will increase your chances to receive grants. We'll build you a responsive platform for 501c organizations, healthcare agencies, and other types of organizations. We'll provide you with full website maintenance, membership sign-in, private charts, Facebook and WhatsApp integration, live video feed for all your meetings and special occasions, a dashboard for members to see all the activities, and email and text auto reminders for meetings. We'll build with donors and 501cs in mind, and will help you solicit grants and automatic membership due collections. Building you this amazing platform will only be a membership fee of $19 a month. Call or email us now. Let's upgrade your website. Home health agencies and small businesses, you owe it to your company to project the best image possible, and we can make it happen. Visit www.tiamit.com or call 215-966-8679. Ask for Tommy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still here on the High Zone. My name is Derek Yale, and I'm bringing to you tonight another episode of the High Zone. And of course, here on the High Zone, there's no gimmick, no fluff, just real talk. We have a team of panelists here that present opinions from different political persuasions and different political institutions. And as always, I encourage you to please share the program on your individual social media pages, and please encourage your friends and family to follow the network. That is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. For this episode, we feature a special guest, and that is the representative aspirant from District Number 14, Maserado County. And in our last segment, you saw or you listened to an interview from her and her plan for District Number 14. And now we'll transition right into talk into our next topic that has to do with the incident with. Let me put this up. Let me have my panelists back on the screen real quick. So, you may have followed this development. So, on Sunday of last week, the Church of Prince Johnson, the senator from Nima County, man, let me read this through. I'm sorry. Normal service at the Christ Chapel of Faith Church of Senator Prince Wyatt Johnson was disrupted on Sunday when men believed to be partisans of the National Patriotic Party (NPP) and Congress for Democratic Change youth wing stormed the premises of the church, chanting anti-Prince Johnson's slogan. So that is the development that we are going to be discussing. So let me bring that over to our panelists here first to get their general overview of this development. Beginning with you, Mr. Ja Winkin Weir. Let's talk about that development. Give us an overview on the incident that happened on Sunday.
Okay, thank you, Derek. I think it is bad for any violent approach by Liberians on anybody, regardless of Prince Johnson's role in the war, regardless of his switching to political party to support other candidates of the choice. That is his decision. We have rule of law in Liberia. So I personally do not support anybody harassing Prince Johnson, especially when he is in church. For those who believe that Johnson is not the true man of God, well, God will judge everybody. We should leave it with God. Nobody should use violence to disturb anybody. So that's my take on that. Prince Johnson deserves peace as any other Liberian. Prince Johnson deserves rule of law as any other Liberian. So it was wrong in my opinion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ja Winkin Weir. And let me come over now to you, Mr. Martin Boda. Give us your take on the PYJ development, Mr. Boda. Before you do that, Mr. Boda, let me recognize Reverend Addy. You just joined us. Reverend Addy, welcome to another episode of the High Zone.
Thank you. Greetings to all of you and Liberians. Thank you for watching. It's a pleasure and a privilege being here with all of you. Congratulations to the young lady who's running. I wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now let's come back to you, Mr. Boda. Give us your take on the incident involving the senator from Nimba County, Prince Johnson.
What I was saying is there shouldn't be any place in our society for any form of violence. No matter what our political discourse, our disagreement, our ideologies, it should be about the issues. Violence is not anywhere acceptable in our community, anywhere for that matter. Not going to Prince Johnson for any Liberian for that matter. Our leader need to stop. If anybody behind this, they need to stop. We cannot encourage violence in our society. We already have enough violence going on, and there's no reason for that. So I think it was totally wrong. Those that were involved in that act should be there with the justice system, should be able to look at them or bring it to some form of discipline. It's not accepted in our community. I don't think it's anything anybody on the platform will condone for anybody. So PYJ, whether he warlord, whatever title he has, for whatever reason it is, first and foremost, he's a sitting senator. There should be some level of respect, no matter where he is, given to anybody who is in a higher office or serving our government, or whatever capacity in our society. It should be respected. So I don't support that idea of violence.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now let's come to you, Pastor Jonathan J. And again, help me to say your last name. I was asking you for it the last time.
Let me unmute myself. So my last name is GBA, which was Bibwa, PAYPWHEA way. So it's Bape Way.
Bape Way.
It's the Basel name, yeah. From the Basel County. Yeah, so
see that?
I just look at Article 14 of the Liberian Constitution, which says all persons should be entitled to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, and no person should be hindered in the enjoyment thereof. So by Prince Johnson going to his church to worship, and all these guys with this NPP bad not coming there to interrupt, I think it was totally wrong. I don't condone stuff like that, and I think the leadership of NPP really need to calm down high on those guys that came to that church on Sunday. However, The pulpit should not be used to bully. And I said this before, I'm saying it again. President Weah and Senator Johnson, stop misusing the pulpit. Stop blaspheming. The pulpit is not a place where you should stand and be saying things. I heard Prince Johnson on that very pulpit when he said Alexander Kumi said he's struggling with his lifestyle and said all kinds of things right from the very pulpit. I heard President Weah when he said a whole lot of things. And I think this is very wrong. So, like in a setting, we say you hold rope, rope or bush. Here, as much as we condemn the act, we should also speak to our leaders to not use the pulpit to bully. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now let's move to you, Blue J Choppy Charlie. Give us your take on this development involving the senator from Nima County.
Well, thank you again. I guess we have to flow this discussion, and I'm happy that our brother Baku we are touched on a second aspect of the discussion. The alarm with which we are all shouting dismisses the reality that the situation presented the other day. The question we have to ask ourselves: was there violence in itself? Actual violence occurred? No. Should people go to other people churches and disrupt? No. Were these people invited by Prince Johnson? Yes, they were invited by Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson publicly and openly invited people to his church for a political sermon. He said what he was going to be doing. And I think that's a part that Baba will talk about. You cannot use the pulpit, shield yourself behind the pulpit to engage in political warfare, and then you don't expect a response when you invite people publicly to come and sit in your political lashing. Of course, you're going to get political response. That does not excuse the fact that people should go and engage in violence. So I say, one, there was no violence whatsoever, and I challenge anybody to prove whether violence occurred. The characterization that violence occurred is misleading. And this is a kind of false alarm that could raise unnecessary chaos and tension in society. We have to reject this kind of political lamppost just because people want to gain some leverage in society. And again, I stand with everybody to say that we will condemn any violence in the country, and nobody should support any kind of violence in the country. Equally, we should not use the pulpit for political actions and don't expect a response. That's just my view.
Thank you very much, Blue J Choppy Charlie. And let's come to you, our special guest, Massa Dope. Do you have what's your take on this development? I see you were smiling when doing Blue J when Blue J was making his
I
comments. So
was
if you have any rebuttal to him, you can do so. But give us your take on this development.
I was smiling because I think he's trying to protect his interests. You see, first of all, let me just make this disclaimer. I am no fan of um, how you call it, Prince Johnson. I don't believe that people who brought trauma in our country, who kill innocent people, I don't believe that they should be given the platform to even lead the same people that is destroyed and they killed. So I'm not a fan of him. But um, whatever it is, at the end of the day, our constitution allows him, our society allows him to be where he is today, even though after killing all so many people, they gave him a bigger platform to be. So we have to respect him. We have to respect his opinion. And I think what happens on Sunday was wrong, very, very wrong. Nobody has right to walk into anybody's personal space only because the person, when he was inviting people to come over and listen to political sermon, he didn't invite them to come and bring protests or to come and be singing song or insulting him or be using derogatory words and comments and those kind of stuff. He did not invite them. And we could say the same about Josh Weah. He has a church, like the pastor said. people should not be using that pulpit to be able to incite violence or to be able to, instead of preaching God's words, they be doing something else that are going to disturb our peace. We should not be doing that. And so I say yes, the people, the MPP people that went over there, the CDC boys that went over there, they were wrong for going to preach on say church to disturb his church. And just think about the other people who were there as well. They are Liberians. They are not Prince Johnson. So what if that was going to turn out into something else? Then that's another thing that we're discussing. But we are happy that nothing happened. Everybody left on their safe. But just moving forward, we need our leaders to take some stand. We need them to speak out. And some of the comments that were said from Jewel Howard Taylor towards Prince Johnson, I don't think it was appropriate, even the other political party, but we can keep that for another discussion. But this election, we really got to be peaceful. We really got to be peaceful. We don't even want anything to turn into 1 minute of violence. It's not gonna be okay for our country. So the president needs to come out. The government needs to come out. They need to make a step that they all need to continue. Whether Prince Johnson uses his charge to respond to people or not, he did not go on anybody's premise to go and attack them or to respond to them. That's his personal space. He has right to say whatever he wants to say there as long as it's intellectually peaceful.
Thank you very much, Masat and Dopwa. Let me come to you, Reverend Addy. Give us your take on the development involving the senator from Nima County, or Rescue 3 or Rescue 1 in this class. I'm just playing. But go ahead and talk to us about that development.
Greetings once more. I am just quite frankly shocked at the outright dismissal of violence, when in fact it's well chronicled that under this coalition government, there's a history of violence, provocation. For example, in 2019, Tilia Yuri had gone to Logan Town. She went to a wedding and later on went to visit with former aspirant Bayar. She became attacked by supporters of CDC, specifically Abu Kamara, who was then a political contestant against Tilia Yuri. She almost lost her life. We also see chronically clear that when the students of LU went to peacefully demonstrate at the American embassy, seditions came about, targeted them, beat them up, and hurt them. We also see a history of CDC led by Senator Akarius Gray, who went to LU campus and disrupted the people there. We also see seditions again, doing voters intimidation, hooligans taking arms of military implements, stakes, rocks, stoning children at LU, going into the district of Mr. Yaka Koluba, threatening the people. We are not safe under this government, let's be very honest and factual about the truth. But of course, this has a history from the time Ellen was in power. They were a very violent institution. And unfortunately, Liberians aren't safe under this government. The prospects of electoral violence has been provoked consistently by this government. I think the signing of the Farmington Agreement was a charade. In the midst of that agreement, the president insulted Mr. Goodrich. So it is clear Liberians aren't safe, and we are poised for a greater problem should this not be curtailed under this government of coalition of President George Weah and Madam Taylor. So make no mistake, seditions will never admit to the fact that there was violence. That was provocation. Prince Johnson had a right to defend himself, to get them off his premise. That's provocation. And of course, seditions will never see it as that. This level of gangsterism, bullying, needs to stop. And the facts are the facts. But make no mistake, nobody has monopoly over violence, and they should stop gangsterizing our politics. This has to be a substantive engagement that is politically free, fair, and engaging to a point where we can disagree and not be violent in our actions. Thank you.
Yeah, let me stay with you though. What about the issue Blow J and Pastor Jonathan brought up, using the pulpit to address national issue or come at other political leaders? What is your take on that?
So let's be very clear. Dr. Martin Luther King used the pulpit to mobilize Black people to fight for their rights. The fact remains that we're in a political season. We have two leaders who proclaim to be pastors. And quite frankly, some of the things that they've said behind the pulpit has been unnecessary. It's wrong, to exploit the pulpit at that magnitude that can potentially bring about a tribalistic nature of violence. So let's be very clear. This violence that was taken against Prince Johnson was unprovoked. Our president, George Weah, is constantly insulting his opposition from behind the pulpit, calling them big guts, calling them names,
let me
among
interrupt you
several
though.
other things.
Let me interrupt you for a second. You say it was unprovoked, and just to re-emphasize Bloja's point, Bloja said he invited them there. So how do you address Bloja's argument? And with you saying that it was unprovoked.
Well, unless Bloja never saw the video that everybody saw, pictures and videos would never lie. So if someone invites you to your church, so you come to the church and calling them war criminals, did they invite you to come peaceful, or did they invite you to come and disturb the church? So make no mistake, this charade of misrepresentation of the facts that are in video does not excuse that action.
Bloja, you're muted.
No. They claim that Prince Johnson Prince Johnson invited them. So even if he invited them, was that the manner in which they ought to be the guests to his church, disturbing him and calling him war criminals? Let's be very honest. The gangsterization of our politics needs to stop. And this government must be held accountable. They shouldn't sign an agreement and not
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's take our next panelist. Mr. Gibson, you're on. Give us your take on this development.
You're muted, Mr.
You are muted, Mr. Gibson.
And before you give us your take, Bloja, I don't know if you had a rebuttal to
Yeah.
You were muted, so let me take that before I come to you, Reverend.
Sure. I was establishing a fact which Ade is dismissing or refusing to acknowledge, that these people were invited by Prince Johnson. That's the very beginning. And until we become truthful in these discussions, we'll only be confusing ourselves. Prince Johnson actually invited people there. And we invite people for a political festival. You will have to get he didn't invite specific people. He invited all kinds of different people. So when you invite different people to a party, you will have different behavior at the party. If you use a church for a political festival and you invite people there, of course, the person will provoke different responses. So in as much as we criticize or condemn people who engage in disruptive behavior, we must premise this on the very foundation of Prince Johnson himself inviting chaos. He created the problem by inviting people for a political discourse. If he had not done that, then there will be a different kind of argument we'll be having. So we have to be able to address that fundamental question of Prince Johnson inviting chaos. He invited this chaos. He created this problem. There was no one else.
Thank you
Did
very much.
Did Kanga invite the chaos when you went and disrupted her in Grand Bassa County?
No, do not mix these things. We are discussing a specific issue. No, you're mixing it. We are discussing a specific issue. No, we are discussing a specific issue. Prince Johnson and his church. We're not discussing other things. No, we discuss a specific issue. So let's stay on course.
So I have a question for Bloja. Bloja, so in your, like you are saying, Prince Johnson invited the people. Say, for example, you having a house party or you having a party and you invite people to come to your party. Is this the kind of way that you expect people to behave? Because you also reference that. Is this the kind of way that you expect people to behave? And what happens if they behave that way? Don't you think you have right to also react like that? And that's even going to lead to the worst? So you think it was okay for them to behave the way they behave, even if it was an open invitation? And you don't consider
that's why I'm saying that.
Violent?
No, there was no violence. So let's settle that. That's why I'm saying we have to be honest ourselves. If I invite people to my house, I will behave civil. If I invite people to my house and I engage in, let me respond. If I invite people to my house and I would invite the guests or the people and I start engaging in disruptive or misbehavior, then I should expect similar thing to happen in my house. So I cannot invite people and I start misbehaving. So, like I said, I don't agree with people being disrupted. I don't agree with anybody going to anybody place and disrupting that place. I don't agree with that. But I'm saying that We cannot just look at this thing one-sided. They will be missing the point.
So
If
how
you,
was
if
he
you,
misbehaving?
Well,
How was Prince Johnson?
he invited
let me
them. He invited them for a political discourse. He threw a public invitation. He went on the public media. He went on social media. He went everywhere. He said, "Y'all come to my church
I know
this
we don't
Sunday."
have time,
Particularly,
but
yeah,
he said
I know
that
we don't
he
have
invited
time,
them.
but I
Master,
I disagree.
permit me, Blow J, permit me to speak for you and correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Using master analogy. Now, if you invite someone, you can invite someone for a party, and I expect them to dance. And
of course.
according to Blow J, Prince Johnson did extend an invitation to a political festival, and part of political festival is protestation. So,
Chanting, all that stuff.
so
It's part of it.
my question to Reverend Adi, are you aware of the invitation that Prince Johnson extended to those protesters?
You know, that was quite a nice try on the part of Blow J.
Yeah.
Prince
Fact.
Johnson never
Not a
invited
try, it's a fact.
protesters. Prince Johnson never invited people to come and disrupt his church. An invitation to hear the gospel. But of
But
course,
that was not
CDC will never take.
disruption. They were chanting political
CDC
slogans.
will never take. Blow J, can I finish, please? CDC will never take any responsibility for those disruptive and gangsteristic behaviors that they've
I don't
exhibited
think
over
it's
the
good for
years, and
their
that is why he
government.
keep on restricting us to stay on one issue. But we must understand that this has been the pattern of the seditions. They are violent people. They are unable to debate the issue without being antagonistic or feisty or violent. This is what we're seeing as a pattern. They're very violent because they understand that come October 10, they will lose these elections based on the bad legacies they've already portrayed in the eyes of the Liberian people. So they are doing their best to disrupt the peaceful, potentially, if free and fair elections. This will be the last chance to lead Liberia. So what they want to do is to provoke violence in the midst of the Farmington Agreement that they signed and the president validated the very first day. So we are
Let
not
me
remiss by this, not at all.
Thank you very much. Now, let me take Mr. Gibson. I'm sorry for holding you for a little while. Mr. Gibson, give us a take on this development.
Well, very interesting. I'm enjoying the conversation, but this is clearly an indication that Liberia's politics had taken a different dimension, as demonstrated by the behavior as articulated by Addy, city mayor marching on Rep. Yake Kolubai, the situation with Talia Gray, so many different things that's happening in the city right now in the country. And Liberia sits on a time bomb. These are little bubbles from those bombs that are manifesting themselves as we speak. If we're not careful, there will be more chaos and confusion even during or after the elections. So the issue of whether or not Prince Johnson invited somebody to his church should not be the issue that we should discuss here today. We should look at the threat that is poses to national security.
Absolutely.
That's the main important thing here. We militarized our political system to the extent that everybody is chanting this and chanting that. You find more and more, like you said, gangsterism is becoming the order of the day in politics. We're not discussing the issue, but discussing what one stands when it comes to the political dispensation in our country, which is wrong. We must stop that. That's my take on that, bro.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Gibson. I know you have a rebuttal, right? Hold on until I take Mr.
No, it's not a rebuttal. Just a to buttress what Mr. Gibson had just said. One of the fear was when I seen those guys with a military uniform on. And, it just gave you flashback, especially those guys that were protesting and how they were wearing those military uniform, and even Prince C. Johnson, we noticed the chief of staff were kind of discouraging people from wearing military uniform. And just seeing those young men in a military uniform, it was just scary. And the police were right there. So I just wanted to just buttress that what you were saying.
We traumatize in the whole country.
Now, let me get Mr. J Mawolo info, and then I can take more rebuttals. Go ahead, Mr. Mawolo.
When I hear all the answers people are giving to these questions, it makes me even more conflicted in what really happened. Yes, people came to Prince Johnson's church and disrupted. Now, Blow J, violence doesn't have to be physical. It was violent for them to come with placards and
Mhm.
screaming and yelling in his church yard against him. And they were yelling, "Praise God, hallelujah." Nobody will bother them.
Exactly.
But they were insulting him. So, yes, that was violent. But then, you know, I'm, I have a mind of politics and also security. What I see, knowing the man, Prince Johnson, it looks to me like a plot to take people off his back. Also, I'm not saying what happened couldn't have been true, but Prince Johnson never travels alone. Prince Johnson never travels alone. Prince Johnson know who he is. He know he is prone to attack. He never travels alone.
Not even without guns.
For these people to be able to come all the way to his church door,
Hmm. Yeah.
it doesn't look natural to me. Especially they were chanting before they reached there. I mean, they had sat down in the church quietly and all of a sudden started doing that, I will understand. But the fact that they were doing it from the road and came all the way in and nothing happened, I don't believe that for once. What I think happened here, and that's another way I look at it. I look at it in both ways. From the time Jeremiah Kuhn was named, it has been tension and Prince Johnson's name is involved. Prince Johnson, being a strategist, tried to take the tension off his back. Joel Howard made a mistake by mentioning Prince Johnson. Everybody had talked about Prince Johnson. George Weah go and said nonsense in his church. Nobody goes there. Joel Howard said something about Prince Johnson and several other people. Then he said, okay, this Sunday I will address it. Everybody is welcome. Was that a reason? Was that a logical reason for somebody to send gangster actors to his church? I don't see it that way. I don't think
So,
Joel is that ignorant to do that. The vice president, if I may, I don't think she's that ignorant to do that. I don't think anybody is strange to Prince Johnson renting in his church like George Weah does. So to see these people come to the church and pretend to be, and what happened to them? They just disappear in a day. Everybody just walk out and went home. And Prince Johnson go to make a press statement. I see other things in here. It doesn't look too natural to me. If it happened, it's wrong. But knowing the man that Prince Johnson is, I see a political arm in here. I don't see a religious. It had nothing to do with the church business. I see it was his doing that these people come there. And now, when I listen to all the responses here, then his aim is accomplished because the tension is off him now. People are talking about something else. And that's what I see.
so,
But just quickly,
so Mr. Maolo, in a
Wow.
nutshell, you are telling us that Prince Johnson planned this for himself,
It's possible.
That's
which
wow.
I
And use
disagree
the
with.
MPP partisan.
no, quickly.
Yeah,
But those are
because
MPP partisan.
Let Massa
even the
Bobo
guy
continue.
who was the spokesperson for them, he's a staff to Jewel Howard Taylor. So I don't see the
The
possibility
man who
of
was the
Prince
what?
Johnson, the
He's not a stop of
spokesperson.
Joel. He's not a stop of Joel. He's not.
Okay, he who to Jewel because there's
He's
picture
not a
of him
stop.
and Jewel everywhere. There's picture
But
of him and
no,
Jewel
he's not a
everywhere.
stop. People can take pictures of people in Liberia. Doesn't matter.
Okay,
He's not a
no,
stop.
no, he got some relationship. with Jua. He got some relationship with Jua.
Look,
And a
look,
lot of these boys that were over there, they were MPP boys as well as CDC
Mr.
boys.
Gibson,
No, let
I
me
heard.
tell you, we gotta be honest. When Prince Johnson does wrong, all of us will
Listen,
stand up
I
for him.
I got
When
no
he's
affinity
treated
for Prince
badly,
Mr.
I
Johnson.
think we
Mawolo,
should
Mr.
all,
Mawolo,
and not
let's
just about
protect her.
Prince Johnson, it's about the stability of our country.
But
Let
here's
me
the
be
point I wanted
fair.
to make.
Prince Johnson is not just a religious person. This is a man who fought war in our country. And
That's
he
why I'm
knows that he's
conflicted.
prone to attack.
Can you
So
please
the fact
protect the
that
young
people
lady to
were
finish,
able to
please?
go over there, the
She's
fact that people
protected. Go
were
ahead.
able to go over there and Prince Johnson did not retaliate, then it speaks a lot of good about him, that he's a changed man. And all of us should be able to. No, I'm serious. I'm not a Prince Johnson fan. I don't even want people who kill us to be in our place there, making decisions for us, and we being their followers. But we have to speak to the fact that when people went over there, and you just admitted that he's a military man, apart from being a religious man, he's a military man. So anybody can attack him at any time. So the fact that those boys went over there and nobody got hurt, and they even surrounded his car, his Senate car, and they were sinking, they were shouting, and nobody did anything to them. Then it speaks a lot of good about Prince Johnson as an individual who fought war, and now he's a clean man. So
Hey,
we
Derek,
shouldn't
can I
be
make a point?
Let's
condoning those
protect
kind of
her.
stuff.
I'll come to
I
everyone.
don't
I
think
got
it was.
rebuttal.
I don't think it was playing by him. I think it was the sedition. It was also the MPP people
It was
because
not
they
CDC
want.
that sponsored
Nah,
that. The
nah, nah,
CDC
nah,
condemned it and they said
nah, nah,
themselves.
nah.
Okay, then
No,
can we just have an arrest? Can we have an
let me.
arrest?
No.
Okay, nah, nah.
Listen,
Let's protect
So
Bloje. Go
why
ahead,
we
Bloje.
can't arrest
yeah,
people who
yeah,
break the
yeah.
law?
The game that I don't know what you call breaking laws. And Mao is making a point. The same point I'm trying to make. Prince Johnson engineered this behavior. He did it. And we are trying to jump over the fact that Prince Johnson himself engineered this action. We are
I
all
didn't
looking
say
at
he
Prince.
did, so don't mix
No,
me
no,
with
I'm
that.
saying it. I'm saying he engineered his behavior. He, you talking about George Weah renting his church. Prince Johnson has been renting his church before. George Weah renting his church is different from Prince Johnson specifically inviting people for a particular purpose. So that is the point that we are jumping over. He engineered this situation. He invited people for a specific purpose. And we invite people for a specific purpose, then those very people come there. You cannot blame
When
other people.
Lord J the other day he said
I
he
am
was
just
going to
happy.
respond to George
I
Weah.
am
Why
just
nobody came there?
happy that Prince
Yes,
Johnson is
exactly. But he has been
Let us
responding to people.
I
He
am
has been
just
responding to
happy
people
that
in his
Prince
church.
Johnson and his guys did not retaliate.
Prince
I am
Johnson,
just
whether you
happy
tell you or
about
not,
that.
he
That did not
invited
happen.
people.
I
He
want to.
specifically created this problem. It was Prince Johnson who created this problem by specifically inviting people for a
No,
specific thing.
all I'm
And the people went there
all I'm
for a
saying is
particular thing.
that
And they responded to him equally based on the message that he was going to be giving. So I'm saying, look, we're not trying to defend. I mean, the fact is the CDC, not Joe Howard Taylor, anybody have sent these people there, they have all condemned and they said themselves on it too. But I'm saying that we cannot continue to be looking at these things because we have a political disagreement with George Weah and the CDC. So we think we want to use Prince Johnson as a lynch pass to demonize the government and try to make Prince
But you
Johnson
see,
look
I
clean
think
here.
you're the one having the
That's a
Nah,
Bloje,
problem.
I have
disagreement.
a question for
nah.
you.
So,
We
this
can
is your Mr.
critique the
Because
Moderator.
government on
Prince
other
Johnson
issue, but when it
is
Derek,
comes to a specific issue,
come on.
Can I make a point?
he's
Mr.
a
Moderator.
supporting
specific issue is
President
Prince Johnson
Weah.
doing.
That's
A
how to
specific
do it.
He
issue is Prince
supported
Johnson
Guys,
doing.
President
come on.
Weah. You never
let
had
Derek,
me
an issue
let
with
me
Listen,
him.
give
All
guys.
a
of
full
us
Listen,
Derek, can we
supported
listen,
disclaimer
him.
here.
listen. Guys,
Derek,
listen.
let me get a full
Listen,
disclaimer here.
Mr. Mawolo,
I
Mr. Mawolo, before you
got
provide your
no
disclaimer,
okay.
let's listen. I understand we all have rebuttal, but let's do it in an orderly fashion, and we are time constrained right now. So I will give Mr. Boda and Mr. Mawolo the last opportunity to make a comment, beginning with you, Mr. Boda.
Yeah, just the point I want to make. We keep conflating everything with the war, Liberian Civil War. The Civil War being behind us almost going 30 years now.
Yeah.
Mr. Prince Johnson killed a lot of people, we all know that. But none of on the platform can attest that Mr. Prince Johnson left the rebel activity have ever instituted any violence in recent time of his time. So let us speak to when people go around doing wrong things, let us not bring back somebody because he was a rebel for 20 years or whatever, bring that to the scene of what somebody did wrong. So that is wrong to glorify people when they do wrong in our society. If Mr. Prince Johnson staged this, okay. But these people are not to do what they did over there. That's my concern. So let us not go back in the past because somebody did wrong in the past and somebody came to attack them, and we use that as a justification for them going to attack somebody. That is so wrong.
Well, before I come to you, Mr. Maolo, just on your point though, when this incident happened just recently, Reverend Adi associating it with other incidents that have happened. But you're saying here we should not talk about the past. So how do you reconcile those two positions?
The past that the pastor talk about is not. He's talking about violence.
You are referring to violent incident that happened under this administration.
Yes, which is a fact. Which is a fact. He's not making all the facts. Those are living facts that he live with. I'm saying to you, Mr. Johnson, we had a civil war in Liberia.
And we should just forget about it.
Every Liberian, many Liberians were involved in many sectors. So we can't go back all the time and say, hey, so if anything happened to Liberia today, can we go to Helen Johnson today because she said level Liberia and we'll rebuild it?
No, but if it involves a warlord, we should be able to go
Helen
back
Johnson was a warlord, is she not?
I wouldn't answer that question.
For me, it was just a disclaimer.
Let me take Mr.
Because guys, it was just a disclaimer that
we
I
are
don't
time
support him.
constraint right now. Let me take Mr. Mawolo. Let me take Mr. Mawolo, and then we will take a brief break.
Let me be emphatically clear here. I'm not a fan of Frank Johnson. Neither am I a fan of the CDC or NP government. I don't prescribe to any of them or their actions. All I'm saying, in a security state of mind and in a political state of mind, you can't just see things as they are. It could be one way or another. I know the political pressure Prince Johnson was under. For something like that to happen is possible. All I'm saying here, knowing him and the way he moves, for these people to get as close as they got with no pushback, it doesn't look pure. And somebody was saying, oh, this person is in, this person. Look, the people in Liberia, they all, you can call about with all the costs how they call him, George Weah. Some of George Weah security like get the information. So you can't ever say that, this and that and this and that. And thank God, Mr. Gibson, they tell me he a security man. Is here. And let me chip into what we're saying here. These things are possible. That's what I'm saying. I don't ever see things as day and night. I always see gray. Because it could be and it could not be. But to just believe one way that it could be, Prince Johnson or they sent this man called people to his church the other day, and the whole Liberia went there and their dogs for him to go cuss how they call it, George Weah up.
Yeah.
And then when they finally see that, he said, all of y'all getting here hoping for me to cause George Weah, and I'm causing nobody today. And nobody went there chanting, and nobody went there with placards. And so if they didn't do it for George Weah, what was so interesting in them doing it for how they call her, Joel Howard?
Thank you, Mr. Mawolo.
Mr. Mawolo, can I respond to that, please?
No, we are out of time.
I mean, Mr. Mawolo is making a lot of sense.
But you got to let me respond when we come back next segment, and I have to respond to Mr. Mawolo because I
will give you that. And because Mr. Gibson, you have expert opinion in the security sector, so I would like to close this segment by talking to us about all of the perspectives that were put out here tonight, and tell us the security risks that important, maybe the strategy Mr. Mawolo was talking about. So you have that privilege of closing out on this segment, please.
Well, thanks for the recognition And Mr. Mamulo, I clearly understand where you come from in terms of that being set up by Prince Johnson to deflect the attention from him. It's possible. But what is clear here is the proliferation of these attacks on politicians and even ordinary citizens. That seriously poses a national security threat. Because, take for example, criminals element would have infiltrated that group on that day, and something else would have happened. Thankfully, it didn't go in that direction. So the national police was on the scene, I believe,
And they did
and they
nothing.
started that marching towards the church. They did not call the riot force to stop them, but they allowed them to go to the compound of the church. So what we need to do is to really investigate what actually happened.
Exactly my point.
We need to investigate that. The president need to set up a commission to look into that because that's how things get started. We need to do a risk assessment of election violence, possible election violence, look at the threat analysis of what's transpiring in the country right now. Just the other day, I read a baby head got cut off on Dupont Road.
Exactly.
All right? There's so many extrajudicial killings going on in the country. Where are the security forces? Where are the joint security? When you speak to somebody in Liberia today, they tell you, well, by 7 o'clock, I'm going to bed because I don't want to be out there. So it poses a lot of risk to the entire country. And I'm afraid that if these are not curtailed, we may have some major problem during the elections or right after the elections.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Gibson. We appreciate your expert opinion on that issue. And again, to all of you panelists, thank you so much for your contribution on this topic. And our special guest, Master Dopewort, thank you again for your contribution. But for now, and those of you watching, thank you for staying with us this far and continuing to participate and engage the program through the comment section. And make sure to follow the network. That is the Elira TN on Facebook and YouTube. And also, please share the program on your individual social media pages. But for now, let's take a very brief break. When we come back, we will get into our next discussion. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Martha Tombe, owner of Matisia Natural Hair Salon, located on 4405 Chestnut Street. We are specializing in locks, natural hair, braids, and etc. Call us for all your natural hair needs. You can reach out at 267-703-2330. If you have pictures or videos you want to send us, you can send it to 267-224-0693.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for staying with us. My name is Derek Yale, and I'm bringing you a brand new episode of the Hard Zone, and here on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. And if you're watching us, we urge you to please share the program on your social media pages and follow the network. That is the LRTN or Liberia Radio and Television Network. And also engage the program in the comment sections. We have been having some very engaging and intriguing conversation here. We talk about the incident involving the senator from Nima County, Prince Johnson, and we also featured tonight our special guest from District 14, Masorado County, Massa Dopo. So we'll transition right into our next conversation that has to do with the issue of drugs in Liberia. If you may have followed the development coming from that case, on Thursday of last week, jury panel criminal court seat in Monrovia handed down the unanimous verdict acquitting the four accused men. That stands as a blow to Liberia's fight against illicit drugs trafficking. So we will have that. We'll have our conversation here will be strictly based on that, and we have individuals on the show tonight serving as panelists who have a background or some story to tell when it comes to drugs in Liberia. So let me first recognize Pastor Jonathan Bapewie Jr., who work with disadvantaged or substance abuse youth in Liberia, and he has his church that is doing a lot of work on the ground in Liberia. He sent all the no, I'm sorry. He has a church who is doing all of the work on ground in Liberia, and also we have Frederick Sam Gibson Senior. He's a professional on the security sector. So you heard his output in the previous discussion. So we have him here tonight, and we will get right into our discussion on that. And we will recognize our special guest here as well, Masa Dopo from District Number 14. We have our team of panelists ready to have this discussion. But before I get into that, let me do a little deviation to get Reverend Adi to rebuttal on something from the previous discussion. So I will give you the opportunity to do so, and you can give us your overview on this drugs topic.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I was very much taken aback, and I'm very afraid for Mr. Cummings. You know, Mr. Maul is a man of great influence, and he sat on this platform and he conspired a theory that Prince Johnson may have concocted this whole plan to disrupt his own church. Well, Mr. Maul, may I suggest to you that if you look at Mr. Johnson's sermon for that day, it was titled "A Dull and a dull and weak leadership brings plague to the nation," coming from Acts chapter 20, verse 17 to 35. That was his sermon title. A dull leadership brings plague to the nation. I think I'm missing the others. He said a dull and something. I'm missing that. That was his sermon title. So when he invited people who had waited for his response to Madam Joa Howard Taylor, that was his sermon title. And I'm very much worried for Mr. Cummings, because a man of your influence and connection and ranking within the party, leaders who are misguided by these types of conspiracy has the potential to compromise innocent lives. And I certainly hope that this is, sincerely addressed. So my friend and brother Choppy Charlie, who certainly believes that, violence begets violence, and that is the new normal of the day, that is quite shocking.
Mischaracterization. I never said violence begets violence. No, let's mischaracterize.
Please protect me, please. Please protect me. Please protect me.
Let's protect Reverend Adi. Let's go.
I want to be protected.
You got 15 seconds left. So
thank you kindly.
Go ahead.
Thank you kindly. So for seditions to think that it is normal for people to be stoning people when they're trying to campaign in the midst of a democratic process, that's not the normalcy that we know, those of us who happen to experience politics from a dispensation of the 1980s to now. It's rather unfortunate that the mediocrity we find ourselves in is quite challenging to be able to espouse views on the basis of intellect and winning the hearts and minds of the people. But we will not be intimidated by these violence. We will overwhelmingly show up at the polls. On the issue of the drugs, I would like to publicly apologize to the U.S. government, whilst at the same time thanking them for demonstrating more concern for the welfare of our country than this very incompetent government called the Coalition for Democratic Change. It's rather unfortunate in light of all of the evidence. $140 million worth of cocaine is now in prevalence, the proliferation of drugs and ghettos in our country, the insecurity of our nation and our youth, those born and unborn. The compromising of education because of poverty. People have to live on drugs in hopelessity of a government that is unable to provide for them. Yet we stand up and allow them to be free under this government. and we're asking for justice, justice will always be elusive. And that is why my friend and brother Blowjig and Bodler said nothing will come out of it. We've just lost 3,000 bags of rice, free rice that was given to us by the Saudi government, and we're asking for justice. Justice is utopian, imaginary, elusive. It will never be a reality under this government. So make no mistake, I thank the American taxpayers for their effort to capture these drugs and provide evidence of our government. I'm very disappointed in Musa Dini to pretend that he didn't know that these people would have been liberated under this corrupt institution called government. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Adi, and thank you so much for transitioning to our drugs discussion. Now, let me come to you, Pastor Jonathan J. Bape Jr. I see here you're working with a lot of disadvantaged youth who's abusing substance, as you said. Now, let me come to you. This case, as it has been, the outcome of this drugs case, it posed a huge blow to the fight.
Somebody, yeah, just
Can you hear me?
like terrible feedback. I don't know who's that for.
Are you
If we're not
hearing me?
speaking, can we mute ourselves? Is that okay?
Can you hear me okay now? Mr. Good. Yeah, so like I was saying, the outcome of this drugs case, it puts a blows to Liberia fight against illicit drugs. And I'm sure that kind of align or connect with what you do working with disadvantaged youth. So if you can, I'll give you the opportunity if you want to talk about the case and also talk about what you do on a day-to-day basis. Pastor Jonathan.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me again. It's a pleasure being here. This is my first time on your platform. I just want to say that I'm always open. If you need me, I'm available. So we are from the Encounter Jesus Prayer Ministry, and what we are doing, we are working with disadvantaged youth. I don't like to label them as Zogos. So we go into the ghettos and the ones that are willing to be rehabilitated, we try to get it into rehab through members and other people that are willing to donate to us. As far as the case, I'm not a legal practitioner, so I wouldn't want to jump the gun. I don't know the evidence that was in the case. I kind of read it on social media myself, but I'm more committed to the people that are willing right now to turn their life around, to be transformed. We already have some people in the rehab that we are working with right now. The ghetto called Zimbabwe in Liberia, right around Namwe Town. When you taking the back road, the Congo back road there, that's where we are. I think I sent you guys a video. My wife and myself in March were in Liberia, and we visited the ghetto, and we've been working with them almost a year now. And when we put them in rehab, they kind of go through some vocational training for them to be reintegrated into the society. So we cannot do all, but the little that we can do is what we're doing, one step at a time. Because Jesus says in, I think it's Matthew 25, verse 35 to 40, he said, once you done it for the least among you, you done it for me. I was hungry, you fed me. I was naked, you clothed me. I was in prison, you came to see me. And that's what we are doing on a ministry standpoint. We are non-political. We are not for profit. The little income. And then when friends and other people that are in the ministry, whatsoever donation they make to us, we try to reach out and help people. That's what we are doing right now. So the politicians have failed these people. And, you know, when we go in the ghetto, they say, oh, it's almost election time. People coming around again. There was resentment because some pastors, some churches, some people, organizations, they go there, take their photos, take their video, they come, and they make profit out of them, they make money out of them. And, you know, they only go there when they want something from them. And we have been making a difference. So we build that trust with them. They even allow or into the ghetto where they actually using the substance. And we see how things are done. My wife and myself, we almost passed out when we went deep into there, but we had to wear
the nose masks and stuff like that. So we are grateful. We believe that God has called us to this. This is an assignment that God has placed in our hands. So we're going to do what we can to be a blessing to somebody. While we are appealing to the national government to strengthen the laws on the books, to implement the laws, we have to just start. And those that are willing, that have that mindset to change, to be transformed, to be rehabilitated. We also have a land in Liberia. We are thinking about building our own rehab. For now, we are working with the Destiny Recovery Program. But in due time, I know God going to send a referral people that have the money. You know, I work as a nurse. My wife is also a nurse. So we are looking for nurses, social worker, doctors, whatever we can to come together, philanthropists, anybody that have the heart of humanity to just come together and kind of support us so we can come and just do this together. So yeah, that's what we are involved with.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
thank you
very
for
much.
having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me hold you for a little bit though. First of all, what district are you in like are you in Montreal County where you do
I
most of
mean,
your
this
work?
six and the representative is very somewhere in us.
You know, if you are in District 14 today, you would have been talking to the right person. But anyways, anyways, I think you're doing
Oh, yeah,
a
you
lot.
know, they're gonna talk to me.
See, I'm trying to connect you here so you can get.
No, but
But anyways,
I know Masa from way back though. I know
you
her from way
expressed
back
that in the
there.
begin. You expressed that in the beginning of the show, yeah. But anyways, I think you're doing a lot of good work for those disadvantaged youth, and I urge you to continue doing that. And I'm very certain that God will bless your efforts. Now,
Thank you.
let me ask you a question though. What are some of the challenges? I know you mentioned earlier that you can only do so much. You can do as much as you can, but my question here is, what are some of the challenges that you're facing that are preventing you from doing more or doing more for the people you're already helping? What are some of the challenges you're facing?
I would say finances because there are more people that are willing to come out
Hmm.
and go into rehab and not go back. We are even working with some former drug users right now who have been clean for 3, 4, 5 years and they are doing good and they are becoming a counselor to those people. So even the place they're sleeping, to provide mattresses,
Hmm.
the building that is sleeping in to put tarpaulin over it because all the guys from King Gray, they drove them out of King Gray Graveyard and now they are in that building in Zimbabwe. And sometimes we put a stigma, we put a label over them. But I tell you, not everybody that over there wants to be there. Somebody want to come out. But how can they come out? They have to get treatment. We have to flush those drugs out of their body. And we have to flush it out of the system. So that's why it is. So one of the biggest challenges right now is finance.
Okay, and thank you so much for expressing that. Now I have to ask for your. I have to ask you, are you staying for the entire discussion because I want this, or if I go to the panelists, if they have question for you, they can give it to you, or do you want me to just ask them to ask you the question now?
Yeah, they can ask me the question now because, like I said, I'm at work, so that's why you see me. I just going back and forth. So
Okay.
if there's any questions, any ideas or input or the pieces of advice that I can give, I will be willing to just take it out so I can be able to take my exit.
Definitely, because I think you're doing a very good work in Liberia, and I'm sure all of our panelists have questions or at least comments on the work that you're doing. Let me start with you, Reverend Addy. If you have any question for Pastor Bapi Wiet Jr.
I don't have any question. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you,
Liberians
bro.
need more of you.
Thank you, Reverend.
Thank
Thank-
you.
That is definitely true. Mr. Jawin, can we, if you have any question for Pastor Jonathan or comment?
You are muted.
Yes, I do not have any question, but then again, that reminds all of us that we got a lot to do in Liberia. Not a single person can do that. In order to be successful, we need a good government that will allow things to happen. The corruption need to cease. People need to be really allowed to do what they can do, and they need government full cooperation. People that are helping because The problem in Liberia specifically is that if you were even trying to help the very people in power, they will be looking up to you to extract money from you or to do other stuff. So that is very terrible. But again, thank you, Pastor, for what you are doing.
Amen.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you very much. And let me just come back to the regular format and make this open discussion because we already have our special guest here. I don't want to have two special guests on the show, so we'll talk about the drugs issue. And let me now take Mr. J. Mawolo talk to us about the drugs case and also the blows they put to Liberia fight against and the use of illicit drugs. And yeah, give us your take on it. You're muted.
Jonathan, my brother, I want to first of all say thank you for the efforts that you've made. But you see, the thing about a country, a government, sometimes the effort we make are fruitless because the government is not interested. You see, if a tree is bearing poisonous fruits, I don't care how many times you pick those fruits and throw them away, it will still bear some more. You got to cut the roots. I think the effort we, all of us, should be making is pressurizing the government whilst they're there to first of all stop the flow of drug into the country. Because when that line is cut, it's like in a war. The logistics people, if the enemy army can catch them, there's no war to be fought because the people ain't got no more arms to fight. Look, if they cut, if whatever we need to do, we do it to cut that line of entry into the country, then we can deal with the sickness that is causing. The problem is that we have a totally lawless society in this government. There is no rule of law at all in Liberia. I was surprised. I was in Liberia a month and a half ago,
That is true.
and I was floored by the amount of dysfunction and lawlessness in the country. So all your work, because imagine you going to people and asking them to help. And the same people are, because these people, when they take the drug, even if you clean them out, and you got to have a good system. And the people who deal with them, and maybe Mr. Gibson can get some more information. They say they got to take about 6 months to really get cleaned out. Then
Yeah,
they got
we
to
got
stay
somebody
away from. They got
right
to
now.
stay
We got
away from
somebody
the
in
stuff.
rehab for 6 months. You're right. It's the rehab right now for 6 months. We got people there. Yep.
Now the people, the thing keeps on coming, and it's accessible. So most of them will fall prey to it again. Because first thing, no, nothing for them to do. They're bored. They can't go to work. No job. So they hang around the same friends that they know, and their friends bring it to them. So they start smoking again, or start taking it again. I hear they say they got a new one that they just got to put on their head. Listen, our problem is the government. This government is totally uninterested in law and order, and it's purposeful. Now, speaking on the drugs and the court issue, look, a blind man can tell what happened here. A deaf man could hear what happened here. There is no way $100 million worth of cocaine. Cocaine is too expensive for the Liberian society. They can't afford it. So if cocaine is entering Liberia, it's in transit.
15 seconds, Mr. Mawolo.
It's in transit. And if it's in transit, somebody knows how it got there. And the people who know are the same people who let the people run away. So this thing is about changing a government that is not good for the country because they really don't care. Period.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mawodo. Now let me come to you, Frederick. Mr. Frederick Gibson. I'm sorry.
There, is it okay if I can?
I'm sorry.
No, I was just wondering if it's okay if I can.
Yeah, it's open.
After
Thank you very much.
You wanna go? Let me my side dopo. You wanna go ahead now, cause uh, I
Yeah.
didn't hear what I didn't hear what you were saying.
No, I was just asking if it's okay for me to make my point before Mr. Gibson. Mr.
Yeah, that
Gibson, it's okay with you. My battery is gonna die, so.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
go
no,
ahead. Go ahead.
she
All right,
wants to
you
go.
are you are our special guest here tonight, so I will give you that privilege. And because you mentioned the issue with your battery, so
Yeah.
if you want to use the opportunity also to give us your closing remark on the program tonight, that would be that will serve us well as well.
All right.
Man,
Thank.
could I quickly? Oh,
No, she wants to
Let
go. Let her
let's
okay,
give
go.
okay, 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 okay.
let's
I thought
give you.
I thought that Bagwe were going. Okay, okay.
Rabbi, do you have to go right now, Pastor Jonathan?
Yes.
Maybe Jonathan, you can stick around.
Pastor Denita, can you wait for a few minutes, please?
Right.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
Yes,
I'll
please,
wait for
please.
you.
Thank you. Master Dopo, go ahead.
Thanks, Derek. Thanks to all of you guys for the opportunity to be here with you and to learn and take all of the good suggestions that you guys have given me. Thank you, Jonathan. The topic of mental health, substance use, is right now in Liberia is at a crisis level. Especially for my district. You know, when I was in that district as a child, even growing or even adult, I only knew about two how you call it, two ghettos. I knew about two ghettos. But now my district has 160 ghettos. I'm not telling you, yes, 160 ghettos.
the J
Sorry,
one district.
yeah, sorry, we don't have time for me to share videos of those ghettos, some of my activities there. But yes, 160 ghettos. It ain't coming from a mouth. It's from all of the ghettos that I visited. And I was shocked. I was really shocked. But again, like somebody said, we don't have system in our society. We don't have system in our country. And I'm not going to say system, we don't have it under this government. It's something that was not addressed even after the Civil War. The whole issue of rehabilitation, it wasn't addressed. Everybody was just fighting to see how much they could get to put in their pocket, and then they create how you got it. They create a statement that they give to donors and say these are the amount of people that we rehabilitated. But all those things were lies. So I personally don't want to blame the CDC government. I really want to blame Madam Salif. You understand? When it comes to the issue of system and addressing this whole mental health and substance use crisis that we now have in our country, she did not in work to do that. She took advantage of our young people, especially people who were vulnerable, our vulnerable citizens. They took advantage of them. They ate whatever money or funds that came in to address their concern. They used it for their personal stuff. 160 ghettos in District 14. I visited about 10 of those ghettos and I went there unannounced. And like Jonathan said, the children, the young people at that district, whether young or old, they don't even cherish the lifestyle there. They don't. They don't cherish the lifestyle there. But people have taken advantage of their situation. They have exploited them, and so many things. I was surprised my first time for you to go to a ghetto to go and speak. In all the places I went, it was only that ghetto. Imagine I went to the intellectual center where you see young people, they are clean. They call themselves educated intellectuals. But nobody could tell you that they want to go to vocational or technical school. But it was at that ghetto that I saw young people, young men and women, who, in fact, when I arrived, because I went unannounced, I was afraid. Like Jonathan said, when you enter there, I mean, the smoke will take you over. But that their leader, and they listen to their leader. They listen to that. There are rules, laws, and regulations followed in the ghettos than it is at the national level.
Yep, they have
For
a
anybody.
system.
Yes, they have system. Their leader announced our sister is here to talk to us, and we gave everybody 10 minutes to put their smoke away and listen to her. In less than 10 minutes, there was no smoke. Everybody was sitting to hear from me. And these children, their biggest thing was they want job. And they want to go to vocational, to the learn skills. Like you go to construction school, you go to culinary school, you go to electrician school, you go to mechanic, and just to be able to sustain themselves. And those are the programs or the technical and vocational skills that we do not have in our country. But the good thing is, with some of us, they were excited when I was able to provide them with like 20 vocational and technical training opportunity. So some of them in July, they're going to be going to the BTC at the sport complex. Some of them are going to be going to the Munapeno Technical School over there, because the thing is, at the Munapeno Technical School at Congress for Democratic Change, even though it's free, but you still have to pay for you have to pay money for registration, and you also have to pay money for the forms that you filled out. So I was able to talk to the people there, and they were able to give them, from our district, they were able to give them 20 person to be able to go down there to learn some skills so that they can be able to apply it. So the issue of sustained use or rehabilitation, and that's why sometimes I ask people, I say, everybody said we should rehabilitate the people, but we need to do it right. Because even like somebody said, if you rehabilitate a young man who relies on smoking, now they have like this drug, one other drugs, they have it, they call it cushy. That one, when you take it, according to the people I can take it, they say when you take that one, you can see like, how you call it, a motorbike. You will see a motorbike passing, and you'll see a big truck passing, and you take it to be a motorbike. That's how it uses people. And that's one of the drugs over there that are really killing our young people. Really killing our young people. So when we talk about the issue of rehabilitation, it's not just taking people and putting them in a rehabilitation center. Okay, if the person, you spend 6 months talking with this person, what are you talking to them on? You have a treatment plan. And I'm sure, Janita, you can tell me that you guys have a treatment plan based on their individual needs, right? Yeah. So you have a treatment plan. You're working with each of them based on their individual needs. Okay, they follow all of their treatment plan. They stay away from drugs for 6 months. You discharge them. Then what? If they don't have jobs, what happens? They're going to go right back. So this issue of youth empowerment, empowering people, even if it's like going to sell your cold water every day to sustain yourself for the long term, those are the things that we want to be telling young people, you can do this. And that's why I don't have problem with those boys that even doing, the younger boys or the children that even doing that keke thing or their motorbike thing. I don't have it, because our young people, in order for us to reduce the sustained use in our country, or even the mental health crisis that's going on, we need to empower people.
Thank
We
you.
need to
Thank you.
create jobs, and not sending them to 4-year university or making them to get a master's degree. It's just sending them to get some kind of skills that they will be able to sustain themselves. Because 4-year degree, master degree is not a pathway to success. It does not
Thank you.
make you successful.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Masa Doport. And it's a pleasure to have you here on the Hard Zone. This should not be your last time. And on behalf of the network and myself, I say please take our greeting back to the people of District number 14. And I must say, the last time we had a female special guest on this show, I was hired as a campaign manager. So if you need my service, let me know. I will serve as
I sure will.
I will serve as a
Man,
campaign manager. But
uh,
So thanks,
but
gentlemen.
Mr.
thank you.
I
All
gotta
right,
go.
thank you,
yeah,
sir.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you
so
very,
much.
thank
Thanks
you
so
very
much.
much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I will stay in touch because I
Mr.
want to work
Gibson,
along with your organization, especially
So
in that area of
Alright.
substance use, and to see our best that the faith community too, the faith community, they should be
Yeah.
able to contribute to all these things.
Yeah.
Our connectedness in the faith community. The
Yeah.
people will listen to you. So instead of people using their pulpit to be fussing with each other, let them use their pulpit to talk
They,
to
they,
these
they,
young
they
people.
love me. They incoming love me because you're looking at you. Not be easy in that legislature. Let me just say that.
So good night, guys. Good night.
Good
Alright,
night.
all right.
thank you so much. Thank you so
I'm
much.
sorry, but
Man, social worker.
I'll be back on the show.
Oh, we'll be
Man,
looking
social
forward to
Thank you.
worker.
seeing you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be looking
Please,
forward to seeing you. Now let me come over to
yeah,
you. Or John, you
And
want to
Mr.
say?
Yeah.
Gibson, Mr. Gibson,
Yeah,
what's that?
Mr. Moderator, I was asking because I know I'm in a little village and I'm having some technical difficulty, so I wanted to make some quick responses just in
Yes,
case,
I will give you the opportunity to do so, but Pastor Jonathan here, he's time constrained right now, so I want to give him the
Yeah,
opportunity
yeah.
to close out so he
I
can.
wanted to respond to something that he said too. That's one of the reasons why I was trying, because I
If
didn't
you
want
can
you to close up.
if you can keep it on
Okay.
a 30 second, if that's
Okay.
okay with
Yeah.
you.
Let me go ahead. Maybe I can include that
Okay,
in my
all right,
closing.
go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So first of all, let me just celebrate the work you're doing, Jen. I think it's a great work. Liberia, as I tell people, we now growing a kind of drug infested generation of people who will not even be able to function in terms of running a country or any kind of system. But I was a little bit I mean, when you said that it's just one issue. It's not a real criticism when you talk about the term Zoko, that you don't like that term. It shouldn't be used in a rather disadvantage. I've heard a lot of people saying that stuff, and every time I hear it, it raises a question to me: what is the meaning of Zoko? Have we understood what is Zoko before we're criticizing it, or is it that we want to feel good in the Western South, characterizing what is disadvantaged youth? And to me, these people, Zoko, from what I've learned and studied, only mean people who are hustling the street, and most of the people are actually street hustlers. So the term correctly defined, but in itself, the name is not what making them to be what they are. So the Zogo name to me is not the problem. The problem is what they are suffering from. Disadvantage use does not properly define them because their situation is not disadvantaged.
Roger, what is your
So
question?
no, it's not a question. I'm making a comment. So I mean,
Okay,
I
yeah.
just want to touch on that point so that he can. I mean, I've not. He's not the only person I've said that stuff or have problem with it. But like I said, the work he's doing is good. A lot of people, we all need to join in our work. I have no criticism for you. Anybody who to even want just a little bit is really contributing significantly to our country, and we should celebrate our president. So I really thank you for that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, brother Bloje, and let me say thanks to all the panelists. It's a pleasure being here. If anybody watching and they want to donate or just want to partner with us, our cash app is 484-908-3615. 484-908-3615. You can also use that for Zelle. Brother Joseph with RTN. He was at our fundraiser on Saturday. This going Saturday, we had a fundraiser here in Philadelphia, and also Clam has that with our prayer service on Sunday, where they raise some money. But just to your point, brother Bloje, when you go to this ghetto, and you say Zogo, they're going to tell you, say, don't call me Zogo. We work with them. We don't call them Zogo. The first time I got there, when I said Zogo, they said, don't call that name here. We are not Zogos. So that's where I'm coming from, because I work directly with them. I think you saw that when the guy made a song, don't call me Zogo. I never used to be like this. Something happened. So that's where I was coming from, because they don't like the term Zogo because of what the society has labeled them to be. So you may have an understanding of that, but there's a bad connotation that is attached with that name when you say that name. So that's where I was coming from. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Like I said, we are open whenever the invitation is extended to us. We'll come. We share the video and the pictures with you guys. If you have the time, maybe I can just share it too with other people And I want to say thank you for having me here. It was a pleasure. God bless each and every one of you. Before I leave the platform, I just want to offer a quick prayer. I'm sorry, coming from a pastoral background, but I just bless you. And I tell you, thank you for this platform. I thank you for the opportunity that I will able to come here to just expand and talk more about our nation. You say, until you build a horse, the builder build in vain. Until you watch over the city, the watchman watch in vain. Oh God, we commit Liberia into your hands. We pray, God, in the end of it, you take your glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank
God
you.
Amen.
bless you all. You have a
Thank,
blessed night.
thank you,
Thank you.
Jonathan. Thank you. And you broke the record here. We have a pastor, a reverend. You the first person to say a prayer on this show, but let's thank you guys. Now let's come directly to you, Mr. Gibson. I'm sorry for the long wait, but you have expert opinion in the security sector, so you the main guy here tonight to talk about the blows this the drugs case caused for the fight against illicit drugs in Liberia. So I will give you time to talk to us about this entire case, and I will have follow up questions to ask. So let me give you the opportunity now to talk to us on it.
Thanks for the introduction. I hope or wish that the pastor and the representative aspirant was still around and we're still here to listen to what I have to say. Because the issue of substance use disorder is an area where my passion lies. Um, when I graduated from St. Joe with a degree in criminology, I worked for the criminal justice system in the state of Pennsylvania, to be specific in the correction sector. I had the opportunity to visit almost all the state correction institutions in the state of Pennsylvania, Delaware, and parts of Jersey. And what I gathered from those visits, several visits, were that out of the prison population, close to 65% of those incarcerated are either blacks or African Americans. And those that were incarcerated, their crimes were related to drugs, either drug use or sale, or they were high when they committed these crimes. So they're being in jail, some for 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, some serving life sentences, some on death row, were all related to drugs. I ran a community correction program that will bring those folks that have been released from state prison into my program. It's a lockdown facility to help them transition into society. Some were pre-releases, some were paroled. For more than 5 years, more than 10 years, in fact, I worked with that population. And I gained a deeper understanding of what it is that they were going through. So I decided at that time to dig more into the drug use, and I started working at a methadone clinic as a clinical supervisor, dealing with all of these folks that are on drugs. And I tell you, Liberia, the issue of drugs is not unique to Liberia. These folks, if you go Kensington, is in North Philly, that whole strip is all heroin addicts, drug addicts that you call Zogos or ghetto in Liberia. It's an open drug market. And these are some of the arguments I made to some lawmakers here in the States when I presented people to them that we use our national army to fight for freedom in foreign countries. But we cannot even bring the National Guard to clear this drug ghetto in North Philly. Not just North Philly, but all over the country. Because it's a business. You understand?
Mhm.
Here in the methadone clinic, they gave them what they call opium or how you call it, opiate replacement therapies, where those that are on drugs come to the clinic getting methadone, Suboxone, Vivitrol as a mean, because the drugs, once they take them, the withdrawal symptom is so painful. They had nobody can stop easily. They call it cold turkey without going through an opioid replacement therapy. The pain associated with withdrawals, they tell you it's more than a woman having a baby or even worse. The government, the state, the city, and the federal government provide funding for these people, yet still they relapse. They get clean for months, Few months, they go right back to the drug use. The rate of relapse is even higher than you can think with all of the facilities that they gave them. Now, coming to Liberia, I left from here to go to Liberia. Before I left, for me, a small majority of those that I interacted with for the drug rehab center were able to maintain a clean time, even to today's day. So went back to school, they got their degrees, they remarried, they reconnected with their families, and so forth. In Liberia, we don't have that opportunity. These folks are there getting high, but there's no opioid replacement therapy. You expect them to just quit cold turkey. That's a challenge, because if they don't use the drug for a few hours, they get sick. That's why they keep using. So it is left with the national government to really put some money into this whole rehab thing. Now, how can we do that? When I was there, I visited the Zimbabwe. I went to Congo. If you go to Congo in Ganta, it's a huge community. I think I sent a video to you guys. 72nd Junction, where the gas station, a total gas station, that whole swampland. I brought those drug users that washing cotton together. They cleared that land voluntarily, even though I provided colleges and the implements. Those boys, they were willing. They cleared that land. They planted corn, pepper, you name it. In that same era, I had a restaurant. Those produce that were farmed from that land, I bought it from them and used it in the restaurant. And they were willing to replicate that in other communities. But the government at the time, this government, I brought it, the labor minister to the program. You saw what we were doing. The youth and sport minister, I gave them copy of the program that I wrote from here. This is the roadmap that we can use. But nobody follow up on that. Now, bringing drugs to the country. The video I sent you, if you share that, I went to Ganta, the border crossing point. Trucks leaving from Guinea, coming through the border. Loaded. They go through custom. There's no scanning machine to scan what's in the trunk. These guys come in, the custom immigration go, they get a handout, there to go. Whether the drugs in there or whatever it is in there, we don't know. So the issue of bringing drugs in the country, like I said, is not unique to Liberia, even in this great United States. There was a major drug bust here at the port of Philadelphia, billions of dollars. Where is it coming from? So we need to take a holistic approach towards the drug use and availability of drugs in the Liberian market. We can talk about it all day long, but there should be a national policy that will set aside maybe an autonomous agency just for that purpose. While there, the Finnish government gave $50 million every year for this purpose. That money sits there, nobody uses it. Every year the money is there.
Gibson, let me not cut you off. Let me just interject 1 minute. The whole DEA in the national budget only gets $700,000.
Then how do you expect to curtail? How do you expect to end that? How do you expect? And you want to talk about these hardcore drugs like cocaine, marijuana. It's legalized here already. So we're not talking about marijuana, but they got China dust, and somebody just mentioned it's so many drugs on the Liberian market. Then besides that, I did a lot of intervention with families in Liberia while I was there, because I had this conversation on the national radio, and people heard that. Families that are well off, I'm not talking about people that are struggling, that live in decent homes. Their kids are running away from home, not going to school, buying prescription drug, tramadol. They walk to the, at 9 years old, the interview I sent it to Anderson. She got gang raped at 9, became virginized. She's in the street. At 13, when I met you, 13 years old.
Hmm.
Another young boy, mother brought him crying. This man is getting high with the same tramadol. So we're only looking at the Zogos in the street, but there are so many other Zogos in the making with these prescription pills. Because here, before you get any prescription pill, it has to be prescribed by a medical doctor. But you walk into any pharmacy in Liberia, they call drugstore, you buy anything you want to buy over the counter. So how do we accept or expect to stop the drug use? So we can talk all day long. We need a national policy and a real approach to addressing that. And that's a national security issue. That we talk about the Prince Johnson situation. If the Zogos have infiltrated our group, trust me, it would have been worse than what we think it is today.
Hmm.
I don't want to bore you, but
No,
the name Zogo, when the guys did the guarding, that should be a national name for us. Don't turn our name into something positive, something concrete. That we say, oh, we said Zogo, but all the pepper they made, it was Zogo pepper, Zogo corn, Zogo orange. Listen, guys, we will be doing ourselves a great service if we think ahead. We cannot just leave this whole problem on government, but we individually and collectively can find a lasting solution to the drugs issue. Liberia has been a transshipment point for drugs for long years.
I know.
Long time.
So
Long time.
true.
Even during the Ellen Johnson administration,
I know.
Western Libya intercepted a shipment of drugs.
Exactly.
Let me squeeze a question in real quick because
Right.
you said we must not just depend on the government to fight the issue of drugs in Liberia, and you say we can do that individually and collectively. I need you to expand on that, especially individually. What can I do as an individual to aid in the fight against the use of illicit drugs?
Okay. Choppy, I'm a begin. He knows me very well. I served here as national chairman on Unity Party in America.
Hmm.
And I was there in Liberia for the campaign of 2011. What I did, I opened a restaurant that had 27 people working. 27. These are boys in the street washing cars. Some were slaughtering goat, some there washing dishes. They do all kinds of jobs there. So if 10 of us were to go there individually as business people and don't think about getting political power, 10 times 27, that's 270. It may not be restaurant. It could be something that you have passion for. All right? If 1,000 of us do that, it will be more. You know why? Because we provided employment for our people, giving them hope and alternative to. Let me give you one more example.
Okay, please.
And I always say this. Liberia was known back in the days and was called the Green Coast for what? Pepper. Correct?
Yes.
Pepper is one of the national major products in the world. We have the land. If we can rehabilitate these guys from the street and take them to Bonkonima or to Bapolu, give them a facility, teach them how to do agriculture, fish farming, carpentry. And I tell you, most of the kids that I talk to, they all want to change, but the opportunity is not there for them. So right now, if you were to clear 10 acres of land, just pepper, 10 acres, give you just an example. That pepper alone you can sell to local markets and package it and send it overseas. So if 10 of us got together and started talking politics and begin the process of getting involved in agriculture, that would change the narrative of Liberia. Government alone cannot employ 6 or 5 million people.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gibson.
If I would jump in quick, just in case before I lose.
I was planning on coming to you next, but
Okay.
since just hold your thought. Let me. You said a lot of things, Mr. Gibson, and I'm really I really want to ask you a lot of questions, but I have to keep it relative to the case. So, from a security expert opinion, what is your take on the case, especially the outcome of the case, and what are there any security risk that this pose as a result of this case?
Well, the legal system in Liberia needs to be reformed. You have people that are career jurors in Liberia. Unlike here, the people send you mail, invite you, and they look in the pool, right? And select who will sit on the case. In Liberia, it's not the case. There are people there that just want to do juror for any case so they can be compromised. You're talking about money here. So that case, justice was not served. Now, on the national security aspect of that, it brings into question whether or not the joint security is doing their work. And clearly, they are not. Where are the drugs? Who has it? If these people were acquitted, who brought it in? How did it get out of the port before it got arrested or seized? Who are the culprits? So these are unanswered questions. So that's the only one they were able to catch, though. But I want to believe there are so many other shipments that have passed through the ports or the border crossing points.
Thank you.
But
Thank you very
again,
much. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
hold on,
ahead.
before you do that, if
I
you
want to take
pay
pleasure before you
somebody,
lose this. Go ahead.
yeah,
Hmm.
if you pay somebody, let's say $200 salary, and it doesn't come back to maybe after 3 or 4 months, and somebody show up at Rawa
$45. That's what
International
they paying
Airport.
them. $45.
Okay, somebody shows up at Rawa International Airport, right,
Hmm.
with a bag that contains maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, and look at them man who making 45 and say, my man, yeah, $500 for you, let my bag go. Then what? A lawmaker, I don't call his name, gets on the plane. Now, what I know, because I got folks at the airport, security personnel,
Why
a
wouldn't you call
lawmaker,
his name?
influential individual, gets
Why
on the
wouldn't you?
plane and go to Nigeria, come back in a private jet, and then a vehicle move on the
Would you come to
tarmac
go
of the
now?
airport, and they start loading stuff in his car unchecked.
Why wouldn't you call the lawmaker name?
No. I mean, listen, man. If we go to court, maybe I can do that. But right now,
Is he from the Unity Party as well?
no, not for Unity Party.
Nah.
Not
Well,
for
go ahead.
CDC, not for
Go
any
ahead.
political party. But I'm telling you that there are so many ways the drugs are coming into the country, and there's no way to stop them.
Somebody
The
that will
best
lost
thing
Jojo.
is the supply and demand
I
skill.
I don't know if
Supply and
he's coming
demand.
back.
If
No,
you,
because you say you are going up, the way you want that time.
oh, okay. I'm sorry for talking too much, guy.
No, go ahead.
But
He might come back. I will
okay,
try to connect with him through Mr.
the
Anderson. Go ahead.
supply and demand skill. You got to find a way to either scale it in one direction, which is stop the supply, and on the demand side, once you rehabilitating the people, getting them to understand, giving that opioid replacement therapy, then of course there'll be no need for them to go back to use. But as long as the demand is there, the drugs will come. I don't care what you do. So let me just stop there. We can talk more on this, but that's where my passion is, to be very frank with you.
Thank you very much. And we lost Flo J. He has something to say relative to this topic. And now I would take I don't know if Reverend Adi, Mr. Maolo, Mr. Jawinkin, Mr. Boda has anything to contribute to this topic or any question or rebuttal to Mr.
Yeah.
Gibson. You can do that now if you have some. Mr. Maolo or Mr.
Yeah.
Reverend Adi.
Oh, Adi,
No,
you
go ahead,
want to go?
Mr.
No. Let Mr. Maulo go.
All right. Listen, what you said comes back to what I was saying before. The best deterrence is, first of all, look, I don't care what we do here. The government is the problem here. They're allowing it. The DA is not allowed to do their work. Everybody and their dog hand is in it because it's for them. It's not a patriotic problem. It's a money making stuff. And look, until we start caring for our people enough to do right by them, they will keep on dying like dogs on the street. Because I went in Liberia and I saw our children on the street and it made tears come from my eyes. It's like, how can people be here and see these children and don't care?
Hmm.
And don't care. They're not my children. I didn't born them. My children way on this side, they got everything. But to see people, children on the street like that, and you call yourself government official, you should be embarrassed, you should be shamed that you represent a people who like that.
Thank
And
you,
it sad,
Mr.
it broke my heart.
Thank you, Mr. Maula. We have Bloje back, so let me just go straight to Bloje. Uh, give us your take, Bloje.
Yeah, I think a whole lot of issues concerning this drug. But some of the points Gibson makes, I just want to touch on one or two before I come to my central discussion on the drug case. He talks about the kind of people that are involved in the drug use or abuse. Other people from wealthy home, good home. And this is why I made a point earlier that to characterize everybody that disadvantaged youth does not properly identify them. I think this thing about this recent thing that making some of those people saying that we don't want to be called Zogo is because of the recent politicization of this question. Instead of policymakers solve the problem, they try to scheme around it by telling the people, oh, anybody who calling you Zogo, they're disrespecting you, I love you more, you're not supposed to be called Zogo. I hate to say the name is the problem and not what is affecting those people. But in every society or culture, people have their own way of defining things. We define people who are there on the street as Zogos. That's not a negative name. That's not an abuse. It's just a way of characterizing and identifying them. So whether it comes from wealthy home, poor home, once they involved in that lifestyle, that's the characterization. So I just want to make that point. He talks about the different kind of people. Then secondly, the drug issue as directly stated. Look, this is and this is why it's so disingenuous and evident amount of disinformation when people pretend to be shocked at these things that all behavior in Liberia have been repeated constantly, and we try to pretend that it is so strange, it's just happening, hell is coming down, this government has done the worst thing ever in the history of Liberia, blah, 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 blah. We've seen repeated, even in great countries in this world, America, London, all over the world, with all the sophistication, state drug penetrate into the society. With all the sophistication, then what about a backward country that was left over the last 12 years before this government came, that was left in a mess, according to their own statement? Joseph Blacker, the man who is now pretending to say he want to rescue this country, in 2013, he launched the Youth Empowerment Program in Kakata. That program, one of the reasons why that program was being sponsored by the international community was to address some of this very question, this drug issue. And it has $75 million over a 5-year period, $15 million annually. Joseph Blacker squandered. Those are some of the opportunities that he squandered to address these kind of problems, provide skill training for young people, and transition them from that kind of lifestyle to be useful citizens. That did not happen. And this man now wants to come and his follower pretending and acting so shocked that these things are strange things in Liberia. When they created this problem and left this big mess behind, now the whole country is turning into a Zogo country. Everywhere you go across Liberia now, you find several ghettos. So coming back to the case again, the distributed problem, and so we just make all kinds of characterizing accusations. The case, if anybody has followed the case, and people who have even been in court will tell you the problem. They want to say that the people were bribed and so they allowed these guys to go. Sometimes, it's not all the time. The criminal justice system in Liberia is not new. It was a criminal justice system that Joseph Blacker left in place. The same criminal justice system they used for the last 12 years when you're president, vice president, So there's nothing different. The evidence adduced at court was not sufficient Now, there's no dispute on the drug coming to the country. No dispute. The issue is whether those people who are accused are responsible for the drug in the country. That's a separate question. Yes, the drug came to the country. Yes, the drug was there. But the evidence adduced in court did not show that those people who were being accused were actually the people who created that system that brought the drug into the country. And this is why the jury said that there was no sufficient evidence and allowed those people to go. So we need to go to the bottom. We keep addressing effect into Liberia instead of addressing causation. We can't keep addressing cause. Effects instead of addressing cause. We're addressing the effect. The problem is not with one or two men. Such a drug operation is not just ordinary people can bring a whole shipment of drug into the country. It's deeper than that. And it's not new. We saw the same thing with, like Gibson regularly said, former Salif had the same problem with our NSA. He was chief at NSA. He was involved in this drug deal. We saw even the drug dealer from America. They planned a hit on former Salif. They went to Liberia. They were arrested by the FBI, American intelligence. So these are deeper problems. We stop politicizing and start blaming some government official in his administration.
Charlie, it seems like your only purpose is to protect the government instead of let's take the politics out of
it. It seems your only purpose is to accuse the government instead of addressing the problem. It seems your only purpose is to accuse the government instead of addressing the problem. It seems your only problem is to accuse this government instead of addressing the problem. Your only purpose is to blame the government.
The government is the one in place now, so they're responsible.
They're responsible. Yeah, they are responsible for security. Does not mean that they caused the problem. They are two different things. Yes, they are responsible for the problem, but you are not addressing responsibility. You are saying that they did this thing. They consciously did this crime. You are blaming them for doing the crime. So in America, all the drugs that come to America is the American government. Is the American government a drug dealer?
Got a
American, with all the sophistication, but drugs still coming there. Drug is still coming to America. So the American government is a criminal. The American government is a criminal because drug is still coming to America. So the American government is a drug dealer.
That's how it coming.
No, but the drug still coming to America. It's the American government drug dealer.
Deal with this. Do you have
with all the sophistication? We don't have the sophistication because we don't have it. We don't have it. That's a fact. But America has the sophistication. Why you not call the American government a drug dealer? Why you not call the American government a drug dealer gangster?
I don't care whether they call CDC or whoever DC.
There's not about CDC.
The people that are dying that we're concerned about.
No, you're not concerned with the people. You want to blame somebody. That is not, and that's a problem. I'm challenging you because you are trying to miscarry the route and you want to politicize this thing. That's what I'm challenging you on. Call the American government a drug dealer. Because they are more sophisticated, yet drug is penetrating the society. If you have a backwater country that's not even sophisticated and drug come and you say somebody who in government is a criminal.
Spending on a drug warfare, yeah.
Do you have the money, Liberia? Do you have that money?
No, but
we're just talking about cost.
Do you have that
money?
Mr. Mawolo, let me squeeze Mr. Gibson in real quick. I know you had a rebuttal. Go ahead, Mr. Gibson.
No, I just want to tell Choppy, in my presentation, I did not accuse any government.
No, not you, Gibson. Not you.
Because it seems that once it comes to you defend the government, it goes back and forth, then you end up dominating the conversation. We're having a conversation where everybody should have something to say to see how we can solve the problem. Nobody's holding CDC.
But we're not solving the problem. We are blaming somebody. We're not solving the problem. We are politicizing and blaming somebody.
Okay, but then that's the government of the day.
Derek, can you control the narrator here, please? So good, guys.
So whatever
we spend more time than any other.
Yeah, we have
any other production tonight.
I got distracted. I was enjoying the exchange, but
you can't be enjoying.
We are on the hard zone, man. We are on the hard zone. You have to be challenged. You have to be challenged. You cannot just miss it, man. Just slide. You have to be challenged.
I wish we had more time to allot. I wish we had more time to allot to this.
No, but Derek, that's the issue. The discussion here is not about prevention of drugs.
You were just talking about
the legality process. We're talking about the legal proceeding that went on. Then you're going to preventive, all this stuff. That's a whole different topic you're talking now.
I understand your point, but the discussion was using the case, but was talking about the illicit drugs used in Liberia reference in the case. So yeah, but again, we're time constrained, and guys, your
You're
contribution
not
to
time
tonight.
constraint, bro.
What do you mean?
You
I'm
can't
really,
afford me on the one drop topic for more than an hour. You say time constraint. You
we
can't
we
time
we
constraint.
we,
You manage your time.
we Oh, I understand. I
Go ahead.
understand.
Go ahead.
But we have to take a break, and when we come back, we will get right into the icebreaker round. And guys, if you're watching us, this is the Hard Zone. My name is Derek Yali. Let's take a very brief break. When we come back, we'll bring you the icebreaker round. Thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still here on the Liberia Radio and Television Network, bringing to you another episode of the High Zone. My name is Derek Yale, and we have been here having some very interesting discussions relative to the fight against illicit drugs use in Liberia, referencing the case that was just or that just recently ended, and also we talk about the situation involving the senator from Nima County, Prince Johnson. And we feature a special guest here tonight that is the representative aspirant from District 14, Masurado County in Masadopor. So we'll have our team of panelists back on the screen. Remember, this is the Hard Zone. There's no gimmick, no fluff, just real talk. Guys, we've had a very fruitful discussion here tonight. It has been very engaging, and I must say I appreciate all of you for your contribution. And those of you in the comment section, keep the contribution coming as well. Keep the feedbacks on the program, keep it in the comment section, and also please share the program on your network, on your individual social media pages. I'm sorry. Now we're here at the. It's the time for us to ask our icebreaker questions. So you know the format. We will go around. We'll ask the question, go around, you give us your take on and give us your answer to the icebreaker question, and then we will ask each and every one of you for your closing remark or your conclusion on the program tonight. So the icebreaker question for this episode is, where do you see Liberia in the next 5 years? Where do you see Liberia in the next 5 years? And I would like to begin with you, Mr. Martin Boulder. Where do you see Liberia in the next 5 years?
For the next 5 years. I can answer that question when we cross the next 5 year, like, bro, is very challenging. It's so many fronts because there is a lot that is broken and that need to be fixed. You got your judiciary, you got your people who are in a position of trust, who are not trusted. So the next 5 years is challenging for Liberia. And we have to elect very competent and reliable Liberian people who love the country and who are not going to government for money to make money, who are going to government to leave a legacy. And those are the things that we need to look up for the next 5 years. And that begins by October 10th.
Thank
we
you.
have an election.
Thank you very much, and thank you for keeping your answer very brief. And guys, I would like to encourage each and every one of you to do the same because we are running out of time here. So let me come now to you, Mr. J. Mawolo. Where do you see Liberia in the next 5 years?
What I see, Liberia will determine on what decisions they make on October 10th. Um, if you choose competent people, I see prosperity in Liberia. And I would say, if you choose the CPP, I see prosperity. But if you choose people or you keep these same people, I see worse conditions than we have now. I mean, that's the truth. All politics withdrawn. This government, this government in place cannot handle this country. It has been proven beyond all reasonable doubt, and the Liberian people will be sentencing themselves to death if they ever choose them again.
Thank you very much, Mr. J. Mawolo. Now let me come to you, Mr. Gibson. Where do you see Liberia in the next 5 years?
Well, currently for me, Liberia is at a crossroad. I see an uncertain future for our country, but there's hope. It depends on what happens within the next 3 to 4 months. It's a prosperous nation. We can succeed, but with the rightful people in power, Liberia will be a nation born again to do what it has to do and take its rightful place in society. But for what I see, the future is uncertain because you can't depend on Liberians themselves. They are the one that hold the future of our country. A lot of us have been here for too long, want to go home. We don't have the facility to accommodate us.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
for
very
us,
much.
yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Were you done? Were you done?
Yeah, pretty much done. So we hope that come November of this year or so.
October.
No, but after the election. So let's say by October because we don't know what's going to happen.
I got your point. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I would say by December of this year we'll know what the future holds for Liberia. But for now,
Thank you.
for me, it's okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And let me take you next, Reverend Addy. Where do you see Liberia in the next 5 years?
Well, in the next 5 years, under a Joseph and Jeremiah administration, I certainly see Liberia being self-sustainable through agriculture, roads that are, better than what we have now, quality education, great hospitals, and certainly a nation that we can be proud of through tourism, a pillar that envisions the dreams and aspirations of our young brothers and sisters. In the next 5 years, under a dystopian, incompetent leadership of the George Weah government, clearly Liberians have just sentenced themselves to an increased poverty, living below $1 a day. Certainly a corrupt leadership, rampant corruption. More 48 houses will be built under this leadership. Proliferation of more ghettos, poor quality education, youth empowerment will be a dream. The Liberia in the next 6 years under George Weah is not a vision, it's not a dream for any Liberian to hope for. In fact, the PAPD will become our nightmare, the greatest of all since 1847 that we have to live under. Extrajudicial killing will be increased, silencing of democratic voices in the nation. A cocaine drug infested country in the next 5 years under George Weah. Make no mistake, Liberia is at a crucial juncture. Do not give him a second chance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Addy. Now let me come over to you, Blue J. Choppy Charlie. Where do you see Liberia in the next 5 years?
Well, it's conditional. We've seen that all the dark and gloom predictions absent on mail with a George Weah presidency, and there was this prediction that the country would have collapsed within its first year. There will be chaos, but we now into re-elections absent international babysitters, and the country is still functioning. Domestic mobilization of resources have increased, development roles and other things going on. Distinction from what we saw over the last 12 years when Mr. Joseph Braga squandered a lot of opportunities. It blew up, increased the ghettos in Liberia. Now we have almost a Zogo nation. Flees the state coffers. A man who has never, he doesn't have one agriculture, no farm. He claimed to be agricultural. He doesn't have one farm in the country. He considered himself to be a rescuer for the nation. He recently, political party, Unity Party, was put out of the party headquarters. He could not rescue that party from his headquarters. They were kicked out, claiming to rescue our country. So, if that was a mistake for Joseph Braga to be president of our country, we'll be talking about existential problem. We'll be talking about the non-existence of Liberia because the country will go backwards, not more than 200 years, but even more than 1,000 years, and we cannot afford that. We cannot take this country backward to people who have no vision, no passion for development, and absolutely are just state looters.
Thank you very much, Blue J. Choppy Charlie. Now let me take you, Mr. Jai Winkin. Where do you see the country Liberia in the next 5 years?
For the next 5 years, I see Liberians repeating the same mistake, hoping that manna will fall from heaven. hoping that Jesus Christ will come and face the country, hoping that foreigners will come and face the country, unless we have rule of law in place in Liberia. Everything that we say, everything that we do, the problem we have in Liberia is not a question of who is in power or who is in a specific place. We lack patriotism. We do it for ourselves. Since the establishment of the country, we need a new way to Liberia for a better future for all Liberians. And that begins with enforcement and the respect for rule of law, regardless of one ascribed status in the country. And in my opinion, for that to begin, that will begin with Tiawonse Gonglo being elected as president of this country, who recognized that the purpose of Liberia was to set as an example that Black people were capable of ruling themselves. But until that happens, Liberia will continue to go around the same cycle.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jad Winkin. And before I ask you guys for your closing on this program tonight, my answer to the question, and to those of you watching, when we ask the question, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do we see Liberia in the next 5 years? What we're really asking is where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And you and myself know very well that the answer for that question is tied to the elections come October 10th, 2023. So I'd like to use this means to encourage you, to urge you that you should think very critically. You should take this very personal when you're choosing who to vote for, not just in the presidential election, but bring it down to your own district. You know your issues that you're facing way better than I do or any politicians do. So you should scrutinize politicians, see who has your best interest. If the situation you're facing today is no access to safe drinking water, no access to electricity, or no quality education is not being provided, or the school situation is too expensive, that is your personal issues, and you should seek or representative or law or senator that has that interest of yours. And as far as presidential candidate is concerned, listen to their campaign messages and do your own personal investigation, because this is about you. Liberia in this equation is you. So where the country will be in the next 5 years strictly depends on the decision you will make come October 10th. But again, thank you so much, guys. This is the Hard Zone, and thank you all for your contribution tonight, as always. And Mr. Frederick Gibson, it's a pleasure having you here as a first-time panelist, and we appreciate your expertise when it comes to the security sector. And all of you esteemed panelists, Bloje Chopi Charlie, Martin Boda, Mr. Ja Winkin, J. Mawolo, Mr. J. Mawolo, Reverend Addy, and the other guests that were on there now on. I appreciate all of your contribution tonight. But to draw a curtain to this episode, let me go around again and ask each of you for your closing remark tonight, beginning with you, or Mr. Ja Winkin. Give us your closing remark on this episode.
Okay, thank you, Derek. My fellow Liberians, I speak to you all the time from this platform about our country. Liberia is for all Liberians, regardless of your background, regardless of your region of origin, but the country is for all of us. So that means the resources in that country belongs to everybody. Our problem has been those we put in charge control the resources for their own benefits. They think they are doing you a favor if they see enough and give you some. No, that is wrong. They are just caretaker of the resources of the country. They're supposed to make sure that everybody have asset, equal opportunity, empowerment opportunity for learning, and job opportunity. That is the role of the government. And to do that, we need a rule of law, beginning with the presidency. That means whoever we put in power as president must set the example. For example, in Ukraine today, God did not come from heaven to help the people of Ukraine. The entire world turned its back on Ukraine until the people of Ukraine themselves took a bold step before the international community came to the aid of the people of Ukraine. So we in Liberia must do the same. We should be serious. We should hold our government responsible. We should hold all those in power accountable. We should realize that those in power are working for us. They are not our bosses. They are our servants. This is what Article 1 of the Constitution says. And to make sure that the Constitution works in Liberia, there is only one candidate that can make that happen in this country. That person is Tiawonse Gongro. Forget about all the noise that are going around. Forget about a heavy gathering. Forget about the money. Forget about the cars. The character counts. We need to vote for patriotism. We need to vote for rule of law. Rule of law is above all. Without rule of law, no development, no infrastructure, no schooling, nothing. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ja Winking Weir. Like always, that was very powerful. Now let me come to you, Reverend Addy. Give us your closing remark on this segment tonight.
I mean, I certainly thought that was my closing remark that I gave, but certainly I like to speak to the civil servants. If you're comfortable with your pay being withheld for 4 months and then pay you when the elections are coming, then Judge Weir is your guy. If you're comfortable with the insecurity of the country where you have extrajudicial killing, then Judge Weir is your guy. If you're comfortable, mothers and parents, sons and daughters of the country, with the poor quality education you have in your country, then Judge Weir is your guy. If you're certainly comfortable with the fact that parents, you have to decide which children to go to school or which child got to go to school because of poverty, then vote Judge Weir. The fact is very clear that Judge Weir is not in your interest and you have a choice to make. This election that is coming will make the difference between your poverty and prosperity. And Judge Weir is dedicated to the pro-poor agenda to make you more poor and suffer in the country as opposed to enjoying a future from the opposition that has better vision for a greater Liberia. I encourage all of you Liberians, civil servants, market women, the fish are getting rotten in your hands because there's no job for people to buy them from you. We hear the news. We feel your pain. We don't hate George Weah. He's a bright Liberian. He's made his sacrifices. But the leadership of this country is not his forte. He's not able to lead. We can force experience on someone that does not have it in them to lead. If Jikho Kawahu is the economy you want to live in, then George Weah is your guy. But certainly the opposition offers better option than what you have now, where you can enjoy a Liberia that you can dream of, that you never thought about under the good leadership of the opposition, championed by no other person but Joseph Imambueka. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Addy. Again, that was a good message from Rescue 1 and Rescue 2 camp. So thank you so much as always. Let me get to you, Mr. J. Mawolo. Give us your closing on this program tonight.
Well, fellow panelists, I want to thank you for the time here tonight. I guess we all learned something or two. To our people in Liberia, if you haven't taken anything serious, this election, October 10th this year, if you can run, walk. If you can walk, crawl. But by all means, go to that ballot box and vote. Vote for the future you want to see. If you enjoy poverty, by all means, vote for George Weah. If you enjoy insecurity, by all means, vote for George Weah. If you enjoy dilapidated schooling, vote for George Weah. He's doing it for you good. But if you want a better future, even if you don't want it for you, but if you want it for your children, by all means, vote for the opposition. Any one of the opposition will do better. If you want prosperity, CPP is the team to go with, headed by Alexander Cummings. I will urge you this Saturday, if you can't be in Buchanan, watch it on TV. Listen to your radio.
Watch it on LRTN. Let's be
Watch it
very
on
specific.
LRTN. We're going to be delivering. The Bassa people going to deliver to you, the Liberian people, their child, to be fixer too. The co-runner to Alexander Cummings. We expect your support. We want your support. And we're asking you for your vote, Liberian people. Let's change the future for all of us. There are several of us who tired with this place and want to come home. But it will be up to you to depend on the kind of future you want. Because the worst that can happen to us, we'll stay here and die. But the worst that can happen to you, I can't explain it to you more than you know it yourself. So please, let's do what's right. Let's be kind to our country. Let's be kind to Liberia. Liberia loves you. Love Liberia back. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. J. Mawolo. And just to add, yes, the LRTN will be in Buchanan on the 27th to cover that event. So don't go watch on any TV, watch on LRTN. Let's come now to you, Mr. Martin Bodan. Talk to us. Give us your closing remark.
Well, I think all of my fellow panelists have said enough, and I would ask my Liberian people to look in the eyes of their representative. I know the president is our major concern in this election, but the foundation of our democracy is in the House of the Representatives and the Senate. And I ask my Liberian people to look in the eyes of those people that you send to represent you from your very district and your very political subdivision. Those are your problem. Look in the eye, look at them, and vote the right candidate that will represent you, not representing themselves. We will have a better House, a better Senate that can vow and stand before a president and represent that people who will not have some of the situation we're having today. So I ask you, Liberian, to vote all of those cockroaches that are calling themselves representative and senator out of the House of Representatives and the Senate. And also elect a new president that will start a new voting. And I ask you to love yourself, to love Liberia, and vote right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin Bodan, and thank you for your contribution here as always. Now let me take you, Blow to Choppy Charlie, for your closing remark.
Yeah, thank you again. Let me say thanks to our fellow panelists and to our audience out there for watching, continuing watching the Hard Zone. There's a place where we have to be critical on facts, but what we've been listening to from the opposition is utopianism morph into political attacks, or what I would call political hatred against George Weah, creating an impression that Liberia can be heaven if we transition the country, especially to somebody with a history of bad governance. Joseph Braka squandered opportunity on Samuel Doe when Doe launched his Green Revolution program between 1980 to 1985, when he served in two senior capacities in the agriculture sector, LPMC and Agriculture Ministry. He was responsible for the demise of President Doe's Green Revolution program because he looted the money for that program. At the end of the day, Doe had to sack him from the Agriculture Ministry. He repeated that same squandering behavior on Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for 12 years. Repeating there's a common adage that doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is insanity. We've already tested these bunch of state looters. Returning them to power is just sanctioning Liberia extinction. We also want to encourage all Liberians to remain peaceful in these elections and continue to respect fundamental rights of each other. And we cannot scheme, like in the case of Prince Johnson, inviting chaos because you think you have a war history to intimidate other people, that you can respond after you create your own dysfunction situation. And we don't want that kind of politics in the country. We need for everybody to respect the rule of law and everybody to respect other people's fundamental rights. These elections, I'm convinced, will be peaceful and will indeed elect our president come whatever October or November in this year. So I want to thank you all for listening and watching.
Thank you very much, Blue J Choppy Charlie. And let me now come to you, Mr. Gibson. And thank you for debuting on this show tonight. And so I'll give you that privilege of being the last to close to draw the curtain on this show. So I'll give you the honor now to give us your closing remark.
Thank you very much, and thanks to my fellow panelists. Thanks for inviting me into the show for the first time. My Liberian people, I want to talk to y'all. When I speak all the book here today, and I know some of you old man there, you're listening, you don't hear some of the things we talk. But the thing that we talk here today about you and our country. The place we are, we've been suffering for too long. Plenty things happening there. I don't have to tell you. You know. The election are coming, that your election. You the one will make the president. You the one will make the man that make it a law. So, I'm telling you, open your eye. Before you vote, make sure the people there you sending to make law for you, you can see on TV every day, they're making flower there every day. Like, yo. They're not there to talk for you. Some of them making $30,000. I don't know how to pull out one in Liberia English, but they make plenty of money. Then your teacher they can't get paid. Your children they can't go to school. You don't get medicine when you get sick. People die from small disease and that can be killed because they're there full of their own pocket and they forget about you. So this time, it all in your head that every 6 years we'll do president. Every 6 years we'll do representative. Every 9 years we'll do senator. If you put senator there 2 times, that 18 years. So if you make a baby and I'm finish high school before you move from senator seat. So this time, it's time for you to put your cap on and make sure the man you vote for, he mean well for you. Don't send up people that are making noise there every day back. Because they have outlived, like bro, American men say they have outlived their usefulness to you. When it comes to president, myself coming to Liberia, I'm a Unity Party man, but I will go and sit down with Mr. Boakai and talk to him one-on-one to see what plan he get for our country. Because I'm not tired of being clapping my hand for plenty of people, they come there, they fail. Oh, but this time, I will not clap my hand like that. I will come sit down with you. You tell me what you're going to do. And that's what y'all need to do. You don't just put your vote there because somebody can give you bag of red or give you something to drink. All that one when finish, you go back to your village, you go suffer. It's time for you to think because this time, we don't get it right, it will be hard. Because we who here in America, when you say, hey, this year, when they say when you sneeze, that we don't want to get a fever here. Because every day you calling, I need school fee, I need cabin board, I need rent, I need hospital fee, I need food. We too, we tired. But if we get a government that will make it good for jobs to be there, people take pay on time, then we too, now from this side, will be able to do some more things for you. So this is the time to make that decision. If I will come by here again and they bring me here today to talk, I will not be speaking BB Boma. I'll be speaking the typical Liberia colloquial so you can hear for you to make a decision. If you make wrong decision, it's on you. Don't say I don't tell you. But this is the time now for you to act. Having said that, I say thank you. Come by again and listen to us. And fellow panelists, again, thanks for and I appreciate the fact that I can be on this show to have a say in what's going on to shape the destiny of our small country.
When you're ready to go, you might
Thank
tell
you.
me so I can get a wheelchair to carry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Frederick Gibson. And personally, I love that Liberian English. I'm very sure that resonates with
The only thing
a
you know,
lot.
30,000 like bread, Koloko.
No, I was in it.
They mentioned plenty of money, 30,000 and plenty of money. But it's been great, guys. And Mr. Gibson, thank you for joining us, and I'm sure this will not be your last time. Mr. Mawolo, thank you as always. Mr. Martin Boda, Bloody Choppy Charlie, Mr. Ja Winkin, we are and Reverend Adi. It's always a pleasure having you guys, and your contribution are always highly
And
appreciated. So
Mr.
thank you
Gibson, when
so
you're ready
again.
to go, let me know so I can send Joseph Boga with you. When you be talking
No
to him,
problem.
so he can-
I will
That's
roll it
what
for
all
you,
I
my
want.
brother.
Well, thank you,
I will
guys.
roll it.
Let's
Because
take
remember
a
going low for vacation when I camping. Oh.
thank you, guys. Let's take a brief break and we'll come back. We'll bring you the announcement with all the panelists. But for now, guys, have a good night.
At Fatu's, we know what it's like to feel a little homesick. That's why we work hard to bring you the very best and freshest imported foods and supplies from home. With quality design African cloths, beauty supplies, and tasty African food items, you'll feel right at home. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Fatu's African International Market for all of your household and family needs. See you soon.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still here on the High Zone, and my name is Derek Yallis. So, with another episode of the High Zone, before we can draw the curtain on this episode for the night, we would like to bring you some of the announcement we have here in our announcement folder. Beginning with the beginning with our Calabash party coming to you from the Multicultural Community Family Services. So they are extending an invitation to you to a Calabash pantry. So that is every first and third Tuesday from 12 noon to 4 p.m. and is in room 26A, 7016 Terminal Square, Upper Darby, PA. 19082 is the zip code. This is our Calabash pantry coming to you from the Multicultural Community Family Services, and it's an invitation to you. The next announcement we have here is from Union Boa PA chapter. They're inviting you to a cookout on a Memorial Day weekend. That is the weekend from May 27th to May 29th between 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. So Union Boy is inviting all of you to a cookout. And the address is 5900 or 5900 Springfield Avenue, Philadelphia, PA, and the number to call is 610-333-3635. So come out and support the Queen for the national contest. As it is said here on the flyer, come out and support our Queen for the national contest. So the next announcement we have here in our announcement folder is the the second annual Liberian Business Expo 20 that is scheduled for this year, July 29, 2023, at the Gwinnett Place Mall. So it's the second annual Liberian Business Expo for 2023, July 29 at the Gwinnett Place Mall. The address is 2100 Pleasant Hill Road, Duluth, G8, between 1 p.m. to 12 a.m. And it will have vendor spots available for $150. And that will include one tent, one table, one chair. And again, this is the second annual Liberian Business Expo scheduled for July 29, 2023. The website to visit to get more information on that is www.libchamberusa.org. Again, that is the second annual Liberian Business Expo scheduled for July 29, 2023. And the next announcement we have here, and the last announcement actually, is from the Liberian Minister Association of Delaware is presenting Reverend Dr. John K. Jala, Reverend Dr. John K. Jala Forum. And this forum will be on good governance and peaceful coexistence in Liberia. The theme is Liberia's development and governance, the role of the church, pre and post elections. That is a very interesting theme for a program, for a forum. So that is on Saturday, May 27, 11 at 11 a.m., May 27, 2023 at 11 a.m. and the address will be at 5800 Springfield Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19143. And again, this is a forum on good governance and peaceful coexistence in Liberia, carrying the theme Liberia's development and governance, the role of the church, pre and post elections. And this forum will feature one of our own panelists who will serve as a facilitator, Reverend Editors Adi. So that's all we have for you from our announcement follow. My name is Derek Yale, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Hard Zone, and continuing to follow the Liberian Radio and Television Network on Facebook, as they will bring you more content and breaking news coming out of Liberia. So, but for now, this is the Hard Zone. I will draw the curtain to this one. My name is Derek Yale. I will see you on the next episode. But until then, you have a pleasant week. Thank you.
It don't happen at the wrong time in the wrong place, oh yeah. It's cool it down, cool it down, cool it down, down, cool it down, cool it down, cool it down, cool it down, down, cool it down. I know I break your heart so many times. Cool it down, cool it down. Not my intention to break your heart. Cool it down, cool it down. Baby, cool it down, baby. I know I break your heart, oh baby. Oh baby, cool it down, baby. I know I'm not around, oh baby. Oh baby, cool it down, baby. I know I break your heart, oh baby. Oh baby, cool it down, baby. I know I'm not around, oh baby. Me, I know feel know what I will do without you. I don't feel know what I will do without you. Me, I don't feel know what I will do without you. You stood by me when they were criticizing me. Be in love for me, but never die for me. I'm in love with me. I'm sorry, I was selfish and greedy. Your best friend, brother, your uncle and your sister. You play my look at me right around, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby, oh. My hands on my knees, oh,